Well, there goes. Daverhood. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to all ya all. And yeah, how's it going? Welcome to the Dave's Gone By Facebook podcast. Yo.
1 second, just blow your head.
Okay. Oh, I think my hair needs a little work. Hold on. Oh, that feels good.
No, okay, yeah, you do that. Okay.
Yeah, I gotta do like a comb it forward. This meeting is being live streamed. Okay. Yes, there we go. I know it's like I wanted it to be live streamed.
So every person I talked to last week, they're like, I'm late to Zoom because it was updating.
So
yeah. Probably did some new features, yeah.
But here we are on Zoom live on this Saturday morning. I do have this weird head curl thing on there now. What a
That's just gray hair. Stop doing that. Don't do that, David.
All right. I'm seeing out all you're going to concentrate on for the next 3 hours is that what I'm saying instead of our wonderful guest.
I actually think that if you would read the word of the day, it might really.
Oh, all right. Well, yes. Hold on.
Because it would help you with what you're talking about. It's the opposite of what you're doing.
The opposite of this? Mm-hmm. What is the opposite of? It's like I don't know. All right. So the first thing Joyce is going to be showing me is one of the segments that we do pretty much every week here on the Dave's Gone By show, featuring me, Dave Lefkowitz. Let me just get a little more light there. And my darling and adorable wife, Joyce. This is our 940th episode of the program. We've been doing this since October of 2002. It's a brand new show live on this Saturday, April 20th. Yes, it's 4/20, 2024. And one of our segments is, of course, Dave's Big Dictionary, where ordinarily, Joyce would thumb through a real, actual hard copy dictionary and find a random word for me to talk about later in the show. Thank you. Here's an actual dictionary. But now, Merriam-Webster is doing it themselves. So every day to promote themselves, they do. I guess I assume they're automatically or randomly generated. Oh, good word.
But it's the opposite of what you're doing. That's why.
Because I'm doing it very, yeah. Well, I thought you meant because I have gray hair rather than red, yeah. So, here's the deal. We call it Dave's Big Dictionary. Joyce finds a word, and now Merriam-Webster is finding the word for us. Their official word of the day for today. You would figure it'd be something like cannabis or whatever. I think it's Hitler's birthday, ain't it? Or, I don't know. Because it's, I gave him a shout out. Joe Salzone's birthday is today. And I remember he was born the same day as Hitler. Oh, yeah, I think he's in like upstate New York or some New York town doing radio. So, but anyway, the word of today is gingerly. Gingerly, which means you do something the way a redhead would. Gingerly. I'll write that down so I remember it. And I'll read the definition now with my tool.
Did you show the people the word?
Oh, well, I can show. Gingerly. There you go. What was that?
What's the walking gently?
He's walking in I get it. Okay.
This person, it says very cautious or careful. They're walking. This person's walking on rocks in a over like water.
Weirdly enough. Oh, okay. And as an adjective, which means very cautious or careful. And yet, ginger, the only definition I have for it is the pungent, aromatic rootstock of a tropical plant used especially as a spice and in medicine. Yeah.
Gingers. According to Ginger Parrott, during this time and throughout the 19th century, Britain occupied parts of Malaysia, home to the red ginger plant. Beautifully bright as a beacon, this fiery-headed plant caught the attention of many visitors to the country and has been cited as one of the first instances of redheads being called gingers.
That makes sense. They're red like the plant. And I wonder if the plant is a tropical plant. Maybe it's you have to be careful with it. You have to treat it gingerly. What? Well, I tend to treat girls Mary Ann Lee.
No, but that's the red ginger plant.
I'll show that. Thank you.
That's the connection.
There it is. Yeah.
The spice is probably the root. It's kind of a oatmeal color. but the ginger plant is red, that's why,
Was there a Ginger Spice from the Spice Girls?
No.
Was one of them called Ginger?
no.
And was she a redhead?
I think
And was she a
like,
real redhead?
her real name was Ginger, but I don't think,
Really?
yeah, I don't think it was like, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Honest with you.
Was there a Ginger Spice?
What's the name of the Spice Girls characters?
According to Wikipedia, the Spice Girls are an English girl group formed in 1994, consisting of Melanie Brown, Scary Spice, Melanie Chisholm, Sporty Spice, Emma Bunton, Baby Spice, Jerry Halliwell, Ginger Spice.
Right, okay.
and the majority of them Posh Spice.
So Jerry Halliwell was Ginger Spice. So I wonder, I guess they named it after the spice and not after her minge, I would assume. But I don't know, was Jerry Halliwell a redhead?
I hear she's blonde, but she
Right.
might have been fine.
At the time, she might have been, as dark as the tar on the street for all
It's
we know.
hard to figure out.
But anywho, so what does this have to do with anything? Oh yes, our word of the day is gingerly, which means it's not like the Groucho Marx thing. When the duck comes down, I should probably try and do that. If the guest says the word accidentally,
Oh,
he gets
yeah, that'd be
$100.
funny.
I could, but no, it's more like an extemporaneous thing.
Water?
I'm fine. I've got water here. Thank you. A more of an extemporaneous thing where
Here.
during the course of the day, that makes me feel better.
Don't get it on your shirt.
Oh, yeah. Then keep the ketchup. Oh, it's probably over there somewhere. I don't know where the ketchup was. Potatoes have it. Yeah, it makes sense. I have to talk for 5 minutes or so about whatever the word gingerly brings
Could
to.
you do it while dancing like a Spice Girl?
I could if you want me to have a heart attack. I'm 60 at this point. I don't have the energy even. I couldn't even dance like a golden girl at this point.
Yeah, I can't even get the music, but
And speaking of golden girls, here's B. This is the B cup my wife got
that was
me
your
for my birthday.
birthday.
Yes.
I couldn't believe, like, I hit the mother load in that Hallmark store. I went in, I said to the girl, I need a 60th birthday gift. I said, I have like 5 minutes. He's picking up food. She said, is it for a gentleman or a woman, a lady? And I said, it's for a man. And she said, okay. And then I was like, wait a second. And after that Golden Girls merch was gone.
Oh my God, yeah.
They had socks and stuff, but I don't like socks because they're tight on your feet. Like they don't fit you right.
Right.
This is perfect.
This is, yeah. I sip weekly from B. Arthur's head.
Yes.
Yeah, which maggots and worms are doing now, but it is. I mean, she is magical B. Arthur, and if you can't be good, B.
I
Arthur,
think she's your spirit animal.
maybe. Oh, the spirit of B.
Be careful, don't mess up your shirt.
I'm not messing up this beautiful Jackson Pollocky, or it might be a Jackson Pollocky knockoff.
Ah, yes.
We watched the documentary that
What was that gallery you bought at the gallery?
I don't remember the name of it.
Nodal, something like Nodal.
Nodler
Yeah.
Gallery in New York.
I bought
Yeah.
it for you there for like only 1 billion instead of 17.
Good deal.
Yeah, and the lady said she found it in her garage, but it was from a Spanish painter.
How did who figured out? We watched this documentary on Netflix about this multi-million dollar painting scam where nobody figured out.
No, people, they said what they said is a lot of people liked it and used them in their galleries and stuff. But one of the what do you call the people
Authenticators, right? Yeah.
He was like suspicious because he kept saying like, why are these all coming out with no provenance? And then other people everybody was like whispering, but one guy just called the FBI and said, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, it's went on for years. This wasn't like suddenly somebody had 10 Jackson Pollocks and a Motherwell and 3 Vermeers in his trunk. It was kind of like over the course of years they established trust.
One of the oldest galleries, but it was convicted of fraud in 2011.
Yeah, and the woman who owned the gallery and was fooled.
She wasn't the owner. She was just the manager.
Oh, really?
It wasn't her. She was like the director. Yeah.
Ah, okay. But she's still selling. She is still.
Now she has her own art gallery.
Yeah. Would you?
Would
you buy?
Her Nodler was the one who owned it.
Yeah.
Says, oops, Arnet called their headlines, oops.
Well, yeah.
Like, because they were saying like there's a Pollock and there wasn't a picture, but some people kept saying like all these, these guys in the past would sell their art for food or something, but they were saying like, how come there's no image? And Pollock was spelled wrong in one of them.
Yeah, right.
And like,
The painting was
yeah,
signed,
yeah.
Pollock, Jackson Pollock, and they spelled Pollock wrong, which they literally they spelled it Pollock, which tells you everything you need to know about these art forgers who nevertheless scammed these people for what was it, 30 million or billion? It was some kind of insane number. Yeah.
So they have all of the forged images of the
Oh,
painting.
Rothko's they had.
And I think the funniest part to me was, and they disclosed all the names, even art galleries and other places, but the funniest thing for me was that all the art critics and the art people said they knew that the Rothko was fake. But in the trial, when they were exhibiting it, they were all debating should it be upside down or right side up. So they were debating which color goes on top, and they know it's a fake. But even like some of the kids or like art houses that assessed it said they were right, but then
Yeah, more than one person is going. Yeah.
The guy who was suspicious, he said, and there was another bureau where they assessed it and they said they can't approve it.
Oh.
So there were two big groups, but one said that there was a problem because the paint on it brushed up against another painting that got paint from another era.
Oh.
So it's like it couldn't have been at the right time.
Right.
And then they said, well, maybe they were housed together in wet paint or something.
I don't think so.
I think it's very hard to it's very like I don't know. It's very hard to you could get like everybody's fooled, right? So we all could get fooled once or twice. But their list of paintings was incredible.
Right, and you want to believe that there's this one mysterious owner who got these paintings in the 50s, and you can kind of, because that's what a collector is. That's what collector. Remember, we went to the Getty Gallery. We went to these people, and they get things from all over the world, and they're lucky, and they got in when things were not $30 million, but they were $8,000 when they bought them 40 years ago. Sure, it's you want to believe it, especially if you look at this giant Rothko, fake Rothko on the wall. Yeah, and it hits you, it moves you because it is a real painting. It's not a print or something like that. You're like, the painting is probably quite beautiful.
But what would make me suspicious is like, why are they coming just to her? Like,
they found the golden goose.
No, I know, but wouldn't you like? And then also like you have to. They were saying that it's like the pedigree. So even if they were from an owner would have kept some record for insurance, right? So like. Even if you don't have a record yourself, your insurance company is going to evaluate that art because they're insuring it.
Yeah, right. So, but the only way, they literally have to go on the painting, scrape, and look on the back, and which I imagine I don't know. And early on, maybe the guy, because the funny thing about this whole thing is the dealer in these paintings was not the painter. The painter was this little old Japanese guy.
I think he's Chinese.
Oh, was it Chinese? It was Chinese. It was Chinese, and you're right.
He was a famous artist, but
in China.
But then when he came, he couldn't make money, and then he just painted stuff.
Yeah, and he did it presumably because he was really good at it and loved copying, but not supposedly with the mind of being a forger, but just kind of putting up, hey, I can do this painting.
You know what they said though? Remember the?
Well, he started making real money.
What the lawyer said, the attorney said. It's okay to paint it and sell it as a knockoff, but when you sign the artist's name, that's the fraud.
Yeah, if he put his own name on it, or say Pollock as done by,
or just didn't sign it, just didn't sign it.
Yeah, right.
Didn't sign it.
But yeah, exactly. And then, if anybody who buys it for maybe several $100s, or a painting that size is actually physically worth hundreds of dollars, just not millions, and puts it on the wall, there's no fraud there. It's kind of like, I didn't just want a Rothko or a Motherwell or a Pollock print or whoever else it was doing.
The Elegy of the Spanish Republic, which is my favorite. Yeah.
Who did that one?
That was Motherwell, but he did one, copied one, and sold it.
And quite honestly, you could get, a kindergarten art student to take black paint and throw 3 blotches on a canvas and call it a Motherwell.
Made You Look. It's a good name.
Yeah, but it was.
And they said one of the Pollocks was done in like a khaki color, which he never used, and so they all wanted it, but like
But I wonder if this guy got so many requests, this Chinese guy, that, what happened? He got a little sloppier. He got a little. Cause at first it was like the right paint, the right look, and the right this
Here
and
it
the right
says
that.
the director of the film says galleries and dealers were fooled because they wanted to believe.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, everybody had a stake in the game, and the collectors wanted to believe.
Fake and a real Rothko.
Right, good. Here, let me show that. Look, you tell me.
Yeah.
Even I know this is on a telephone, but even on a wall, in a house, in a room, in a museum, a gallery, you tell me which is the real Rothko, which is the Roscoe. No, and even experts, essentially, until they start literally doing the
Who's
detail.
the forger?
Oh, here you are. What's this guy's name? Master Forger Pei Shang Khan. Oh, he went away.
Scroll down.
Pei Shang Khan. Yeah.
But he escaped to China. He didn't execute.
Yeah. He's never coming back there because he knows he'll be extra, or he knows he'll stand trial. So he stays there. And now he's kind of old, so now he's just kind of painting for himself and living merrily in communist capitalist China. Doing whatever he's doing, probably painting houses.
I don't know how she could.
What?
I'm just reading about her work, personal life.
Oh, is that this the one who sold the painting, or the one the one who marketed, who bought it?
And I'm reading about the gallery, the one who she was the gallery
Director.
leading New York galleries. She did the fake art stuff. She wasn't the owner, but she was like the director of the gallery.
Yeah. Right. Anyway.
She had a BFA. I mean, she should have known something.
Well, a BFA, she can tell. A BFA is like, I can tell a Rothko from a Modigliani. That's it. I mean,
Really?
Well, I mean, we're not talking about a doctorate in scholarship of how a painting. We're talking about someone who can recognize the various styles of art. You took, actually, in college. Did you take one semester or two?
No, one. But my art course was basically taught by like Pablo Picasso's daughter. Like she wasn't.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah.
Who knows, right? But in New York City, she dressed in black. She had red lipstick. She was like just lovely, and I loved it. I absolutely.
But was it a one semester survey course, or did they do?
She was like the GA in that section of this section.
Where did they stop though? Did it go all the way to modern?
Everything, yeah.
They fit everything in one semester.
That's a survey course, yeah.
Because I was tempted, and I might be misremembering this. I was tempted. I was tempted at NYU to take an art course, but it was a 2-semester thing, and the first semester it was basically all, 0-hundreds, 1200s, and it was all Madonnas and Childs and architecture, and like I don't want to study these frescoes for churches and triptychs and things like that. Get me at least to like the Impressionists.
No, but it was interesting, and they talked about. I still remember in the Met the first Egyptian statue where the feet weren't parallel. One was stepping forward.
We saw that.
Yes.
We went to see it. Yeah.
And for me, I did a thing about my assigned topic was looking at the depiction, the personification of like mother and child. So they gave me Mary and Jesus, this couple, and I went throughout all of the Met and had to find statues or frieze.
A frieze, yeah.
Where the infant was an infant or the infant was an adult.
Looked like physically like yeah.
What the anthropomorphization or whatever
that is interesting.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah. But then I went to school with like ding dongs, right? Because it's Hunter. So the one guy never saw a naked lady, and we're in the Met, and there's a woman sprawl out, and he's like, hee 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 hee. I thought like this.
Well, this answers your question of a BFA in art.
Yeah. No, but and then Nihal always makes fun of me because I said
friend of ours. Yeah.
Yeah, Gauguin. It was Gangoon because I don't do French. I'm working class. What do I know?
Right, but by the time you got out with your art, you have an art degree.
More about the underpinning of the work and the work than the pronunciation.
Right.
I mean, I remember going to the Met as a kid for a tour. Maybe it was high school. And we looked at something about like wheat farmers, and the docent analyzed the painting, and I loved it. Like, so we were very fortunate.
Yes.
I'm just reading to see the history. There's also some. The Nobler also has alleged collection to looted art from the Nazis.
Like a
Yeah.
gallery.
A
Those
Matisse-
were real.
a Matisse confiscated in 1941 by the Rosenberg family was acquired by Nodal in 45, and sold
In
El Greco.
45.
Yeah, and they have an El Greco that was seized by the Gestapo. They had that.
Yeah.
So
But
it's like this whole
Is the Nodler gallery still there? Or did they close it
no,
and she moved it?
art fraud scandal and closure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones they did were Rothko, Pollock, and Motherwell.
Wow.
But I love that the guy was doing it in the garage in Queens.
Oh, that's right. But he was from China, but he was in Queens, man, mixing his paints, doing his thing. Oh, and let's also understand this. One thing that they saw in his garage, so it can't just be like, well, I like to paint like the master. When the FBI or whoever came, or the police, and looked over to see what was going on, there was like a bag of nails labeled Rothko nails.
Yes.
Like,
we've seen that. Remember we watched, it was another documentary, really fascinating. It was this guy who was getting these unique wines, this is a 1934, and what he did was he was in his basement or in his kitchen in his co-op or condo, and he had like tea bags. He would color the labels, and remember he had the same thing where it's like corks, and he would, and he was relying on the fact that people wouldn't know.
And for a while, they didn't. And the wines he was making were probably almost at the level of a 1930s, Rothschild Shiraz Chablis. It was like there's not that much of a difference of. I don't have a palate for that.
They
but,
said that Anne Friedman made $10 million in the sale of all her stuff, and her base salary was $300,000.
Her base salary is $300,000. There's nothing base about it.
In New York, it's not enough. I'm trying to find Glafira Rosales, who's a waitress at a Brooklyn diner, but it won't come up.
That's funny. The woman who made presumably millions of dollars marketing this Chinese guy's fraudulent paintings. I was going into art galleries, dealing with this woman, being the go-between between the so-called mystery collector and the Nodler gallery. She was convicted. She went to prison for a bit, but it was time served.
It was supposed to be 99 years. It was a couple months.
Years.
It was a couple months.
Yeah.
She got,
And then now she apparently works as a waitress in a diner. It's just, what can they say?
You better see the way she calculates how come your check is for $1 million? I just had scrambled eggs.
Wait, this check at the bottom is signed William Faulkner. I wonder. The check writing is very terse. Oh, it's a Hemingway. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Anyway, hey, by the way, what's a Hemingway? About 180 pounds, give or take. Yeah.
Listen, you gotta tell the people you got your guests coming. You got all your stuff.
I do. Well, first of all, we mentioned this is Dave's Gone By. I'm Dave. That's my wife Joyce. We do this every Saturday from 9 until noonish or thereabouts, live on Facebook. You're watching us now, or maybe you're watching us later.
We gotta figure out to get you a mic, David. A nice
mic. Yeah. Well, I know. There was Mike, who was the massage guy. I went to school with a couple of mics.
When you do the interview with the person, sometimes the audio.
The audio on their side, I don't know why. I don't know why that's happening. So, but on this 940th episode of the program, not only will we do Dave's Big Dictionary about the word gingerly, but we'll also have Greeley Times, which will start in just a couple of minutes.
Tell me the town, honey. I'll look it up.
Oh, and we'll have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, where this week we're going, because I do a poem about different places in Colorado, Aberdeen. So don't say anything about it yet. We'll do that in the actual Limerick. But
that sounds like
Aberdeen, Colorado.
It sounds like a place that Bob Dylan would make. Is it Aberdeen?
Like ABER.
Is it Colorado Springs?
Let me see where it is.
I see it.
Good.
It's near Pueblo.
Yeah, it is actually. So we'll have a poem about Aberdeen, Colorado coming up later in the show. Also, Bunion Watch. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I show the condition and size of the bunions on my feet, because this is entertainment. And then, if that weren't enough, and don't you think it ought to be, we will have two visits, not one, but two, from the Jewish Rabbi Sol Solomon. First of all, he will have a rabbinical reflection because this week, in a couple of days, Passover begins. So it's time for him to remind us of the importance and the beauty of the Jewish holiday of Passover, but also in these very, very difficult, weird times for Jewish people. Rabbi Sol even has some connections with Passover and a poem to do that you do not want to miss. So that will be part of his rabbinical reflection on Passover when Rabbi Sol visits us in just a while. But Rabbi Sol will also have the honor and the fun of talking to a writer, a performer, a producer, a guy who has coordinated arts things for as places. I'm not going to say they're far flung because they're not that different. But for a while, he was the executive director of the Suffolk Theater out in Long Island. He was also director of events at the Friars Club in New York. And for more than 2 decades, he was kind of the coordinator of events and concerts and things for Hofstra University. But now he's all along he's been doing this too, but he does shows. He does one-man performances dedicated to great legends of entertainment, like Eddie Cantor.
Wow.
Remember, we had Eddie Cantor's grandson on the show a couple of times.
A lot of times. He was a very interesting guest.
Brian Gary. He does a show about Danny Kaye. He does a show about Joel Grey. And if you see that,
people do so many different types of characters?
I don't know. I don't think he
Do they
impersonates.
impersonate him?
He's not a Rich Little. I think he does sort of a tribute to their
He
music.
talks about them?
Right. They're like biographies
Like
with
a
songs.
documentary?
On stage, on
Yeah,
live.
documentary.
Yeah. Well, like you tell about the person and their life and what happened to
Why
them,
does he pick
and you
them?
intersperse it. Yeah.
Why does he pick the ones he picks?
Well, Joel Grey is an obvious one. I mean, the man has done everything from Wicked to George M. to, of course, Cabaret.
Wow.
And Danny Kaye. Danny Kaye did music, funny music in all his films, and he also did the Tubby Little Tuba and stuff like that. So sure, some of them are no-brainers.
No,
And Eddie Cantor.
The Tubby Little Tuba took Ozempic. Now he's a skinny little piccolo.
That's right. Yeah, but the embouchure, the lips are really weird. And but he also does a show about Primo Levi. So not much music there.
No, but he's all over the place, right?
Well, yeah. Well, he does his one-man shows across Long Island. He also does them, I guess, as part of being lifestyle director at the Country Point condo complex in Plainview, Long Island. So if you're thinking of moving to Long Island and you're of a certain age, you might want to think about there, where Bob Spiotto runs the entertainment stuff.
Will he give you a discount, like we have some charges and fees?
Well, maybe get in good there. Like, all right, I'm down with it. Yeah, all those years. I was just interviewed yesterday on a podcast I'll talk about later, and we'll show in an upcoming episode. But I told the host of the podcast, I told John Suzuki, who was on our show a couple of weeks ago. He has his own.
It was very lovely.
He's a great guy.
People will enjoy it. It's very lovely to see you guys.
And he does a podcast called Finding Better. And he was great on my show. So he was like, hey, Dave, I think you'd be pretty good on my show. And we hit it off. It went really well.
We laughed a lot. It was very evenly metered and everybody laughed. It was very relaxed. Because you knew each other from before. It was very comfortable.
Yeah, but he's also the kind of person who you get comfortable talking to. That's a good host.
Really?
He's good. Yeah, he's just got flair.
Gave you that Xanax, or what did he give you?
Xanax mixed with Ozempic. It was fun together. So I'm losing weight and I can sleep.
Lestro.
Oh, God. I felt like I had some of that last night. But
I'm sorry.
But I'm on his show.
Don't let the pasta kill you.
Joyce and I, it was delicious, but we were hungry and we made pasta.
It was my fault.
There's no fault. It's not a fault.
I made it late.
But we had pasta at like 8 o'clock at night. Which, if you're Italian and a big family, no problem. But if you're old and Jewish,
food, it's comfort food.
Yeah. So we make it. And I have it. It shouldn't have hit you because you just had it with olive oil and cheese.
Oh, so good.
I have it with tomato
your
sauce.
mushrooms were tainted because I had a few.
Not tainted.
I had like 4 or 5 big heaping forkfuls of yours. That's what I think did me in.
Well, mine also had hot sauce and
Yeah, the
tomato
hot,
sauce and
crazy with
8
the
o'clock at
hot
night.
sauce is not good, David.
No, hot sauce is delicious.
Not
You
at
just
night.
but when you're trying to, you finish eating at 8:30 at night,
Yeah.
and you're like, and I had bolus stomach, and until I got that first fart out, oh, I was not a happy camper. I was
You were
like a basketball.
David, you were like the guy in the Willy Wonka.
Yes, I was Augustus Gloop. I was like the Gloop was sitting in my belly, and I was like, oh, and I almost heaved, and I was like, ah, and then like the first fart emerged at like 11 o'clock at night. I was like, I'm gonna be all right. But yeah, pasta's great, but not after like 6 o'clock.
I know.
We just have to or next time I'll do it with peanut butter and soy sauces, or make it different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you can do whatever you want with it now.
Oh yeah, I can have it for lunch if I want to. Yeah. But what was that? Oh. So I'm talking to John Suzuki.
We'll kill you by giving you the mission barbecue later today.
That will cure me.
My noose, yeah.
But I told John that especially in the early years of doing Dave's Gone By, I always have an ulterior motive. I'm a Jew. I don't ever really work from completely altruistic, pure motives. So over the years, I've had theatrical producers, a couple, on the program, and yes, I was writing about the theater and going to see theater and reviewing theater, so I knew the field, and I thought they'd be interesting people to talk to. But it was also this kind of thing like, hey, now that we're friends, can I show you a script and you'll produce the fucking thing?
Yeah.
And they never did. Yeah, these producers have gone on to produce other things and produce a lot of shit. But there was always that kind of thing of the hope of, if I have you on my show, you don't owe me anything, but you could read my goddamn play.
No accounting for taste.
Yeah. But there's that. Wait, where was I going with this? But the idea.
You and John switching your.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying that I told him
I
this.
think you were going to say something like you wanted to switch off shows or something. That when you have people on your show, it's more than a one of. You were trying to say.
Yeah, I think.
What are you hoping?
I forgot what I was going for there, but there was this hope and idea that I've kind of given up at this point.
Oh, let's see what today is.
What is today?
Is this the? Oh, I can't read on that.
Maybe it had to do with Bob Spiotto doing all these shows that was the thing. Was the trade-off? Let me think. The trade-off of like, hey, he runs the community thing in not Grace Point. What's it called? It was Country Point in a condo complex in Plainview. So if I buddy him up, if I talk about his shows, maybe he can get us like a 2-bedroom apartment in the middle of Plainview, and we'll pay something like what? What do you think is fair? $200 a month, maybe? Oh, I'd go to $220. I don't even go. I didn't even go to $420, but it has to have 2 bedrooms and a pool, which I think it probably does. We'll ask him anyway. So, but the quid pro quo thing—that was the phrase I was searching for. The quid pro quo very rarely worked out, although it did. The kind of thing does sometimes get me on other people's shows after they've been on mine. So it can kind of work out. Anyway, so we've got Bob Spiotto. I don't think I mentioned his name until now. Bob Spiotto is the actor, the writer, performer, who's going to join Rabbi Saul Solomon in the Daverhood in just less than half an hour to talk about the shows he's doing, his years at Hofstra, at the Friars Club. Should be fun. Should be a lot of fun.
I think it'll be nice if he's not wearing the scary makeup.
Well, yeah, we posted last night.
Oh, give me your phone. I'll look on your Facebook.
Oh, it's hard. It's terrifying. Oh, it's not popping. Yeah.
I can get into your account and see if people are
please, yeah.
That's why I'm looking on my phone. I can't access it.
Yeah, because usually I try to do either funny pictures on Facebook or the best possible pictures of a guest.
Unique that makes people will look at that.
Yeah, but this image of him, and it's apt. It's really appropriate. He's doing the MC character from Cabaret, which Joel Grey made legendary. I think Eddie Redmayne's doing it now on Broadway, but back in the 60s on Broadway, Joel Grey did it, and then in 1970 or 71.
Okay, so what are you feeling? I'm going to do your post.
Oh, thank you. I'm feeling great.
Do you feel happy, love, blessed?
No, honey, I feel gingerly.
There's no, it's so, it's
Uh,
lovely, excited, crazy, blissful, silly, positive, hopeful.
I feel positive. And this is rare for me. I mean, I'm still coming off the high of doing John Suzuki's podcast yesterday,
Okay, so
but
I'm gonna do, Dave is feeling positive, what's on your mind? Lovin',
whoa,
being live on Facebook.
yeah, that would do it. That is literally on my mind right now.
That's what I'm supposed to do, but I can't type.
So
It said love being Linda Livingston. I don't think you wanted to.
shout out to Linda Livingston. I know who that is, and she was a great person. Is still a actress and a really nice lady that I was at getting my degree with many years ago at UNC in Colorado. But anywho, where are we going with that? Where are we going with anything on this program? What else do we want to talk about? So we can either do.
Look at that, write with AI. Facebook wants me to write with
No,
AI.
well, but have it write something crazy. Ask Facebook's AI about
Is this okay to post?
Janusz and the Boom Weasels. Love being live on Facebook. Yeah, loving being live. That looks great. Yeah.
Do you
Please
have a
do.
color?
Well, I'm kind of pinkish pale.
I don't know
And
what
a little
color would
tan.
be. What would be like?
Well, you know my color's brown. That's still my favorite color of all. Maybe better. Yeah. No, you didn't like that one? Joyce is changing the colors on the Facebook post.
How about this? We'll get attention.
Oh yeah, that'll do it. Wow. Wow.
Choose background. Woo! I'm sharing it.
Cool. Joyce
That'll
get some attention.
man,
That and the Joel Gray face that
is
Bob
like-
Spiotto is making in our post. Because that's the thing. It's a scary, creepy image. I'm like, whoa, why would you put that on your... But then you think about it, and the MC in Cabaret
Michael,
is supposed to be...
Michael
creepy.
Oskins and Dan Reagan.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael Oskins, and thank you, Dan Reagan. So, yeah, when you see that image of... let me show it. There it is. This is literally creepier even than the Joel Gray original look for the Cabaret MC. It's like Al Jolson's dead ghost.
No, it's scary. I think because it's black and white, it makes it look even more.
Yeah, but it's intentional. It's a great shot. But then again, it's not. If I saw a person dressed like that crossing the street, I would cross the street. I'll cross about 5 streets to get away from it at that particular moment. Yeah, that's a happier picture. So you know what? Now we're already at 20 to 10. Maybe we'll hold off. Maybe we'll do Bunion Watch before the Rabbi comes on.
I would do Bunion Watch later because you don't want to get yourself all messed up.
I have my feet be cold.
Yeah, do it because it's. I would say do it later, right?
All right. Well, we can either have some talk. Well, then let's do Greeley Times.
Yeah, Greeley Crimes.
So here's the deal. There's a column in the Greeley Tribune newspaper, an absolutely real, legit newspaper out in northern Colorado. And one of the things that they do is intentionally funny. They get the public record of phone calls that come into the Weld County, northern Colorado Police Department, and the funniest, most ridiculous calls that come into the cops. They strip away that. Yeah, they strip away the identifiers and post it. Get the best ones, put them once a week in the paper in a column called Cop Log. Well, I enjoy reading them, and I enjoyed sharing the funniest ones of those with you, and that's why we call this particular segment Greeley Times. Oops. I hit the wrong thing. Greeley Times! Come on. Thank you. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Greeley Times on this April 20th, 2024. So these are literally, when the dispatcher takes the phone call, this is what he or she is hearing from the phone. Oh, good, I've got the mustard phone. Yeah, Okay, we have a caller on Alpine Avenue who said that a neighbor was, quote, blasting music so loud it is vibrating the windows, unquote. And then she asked police if it was illegal to press her vagina against the windows. But you know, no drum roll, no, nothing, no. Oh, another call. Another call right there. A caller on 10th Street. Okay, I got it. Complained that a bank was flying a flag too close to a tree. See, what would happen is that the flag
Yes.
would touch the tree as the wind blew. And the caller was upset because he's a veteran and he felt the bank was mistreating the flag. And so he called the cops.
And then what happened was the interest rates lowered and all the checking fees went up.
Or what happened, he's a veteran, so when he didn't get satisfaction, he went up on a roof with an AR-15 and started, plugging the customers.
Well, I didn't realize my dad was a sharpshooter.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't realize it, and then, you can't do anything now, but my friend who was in service, she said sharpshooters are always called, they're snipers. He was basically a sniper.
Well, yeah.
Like,
Well, it's a pretty cool job because you're hidden and you get to kill the other person.
But I don't think he wasn't in active duty, but he was trained that way.
You said duty. But wait a minute, I still don't get that. How can he be a sharpshooter if he was with the National Guard?
That was his I don't know. That was his
Because that would be
discharge
National
paperwork.
Guard is just, he was doing search and rescue for bodies.
But he had discharge paperwork.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Cool. I don't know.
Who knows what he did? I don't know. Remember, he's the one who has no fingerprints, so we don't know.
And no DNA.
Yes, no DNA.
We've told the story. That's absolutely true. Do you want to tell about your dad?
You say it.
All right.
You
So we tried to do a 23andMe
Yeah.
on, Joyce did one, I did one.
My
Go
mom
figure,
was
I'm-
fine. My mom had DNA.
Yeah. I'm 99-point-something% Ashkenazic Jewish. Go figure. Joyce is from a lot of different places with a little Jewish in there as well.
Italian,
Yeah.
German, French, no Spanish, Spanish and then Balkan, I think.
And your mom,
Mom has
same
the,
thing.
Yeah, but mom has the Italian and German, and she has the Spanish and and that's it.
And the potentially Jewish is from your father's side.
Well, we don't know because.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So her father takes the DNA test. You do the spittle and the. Has anybody done this in the last 3 years now? It's like they're going bankrupt because nobody's doing 23andMe anymore. But he did the spittle. He sent it away. They said no, they can't. They couldn't literally get any kind of match.
Twice.
He did it again, and they couldn't find anything. And where did his fingerprints not show up?
Something he has. I don't know. Maybe he's like. I don't know.
So your father does not actually literally exist. I mean, as he moves into dementia, he is ceasing to
He's
exist.
a
But
phantom.
yeah. But how do we get? Oh, this idea of a veteran and what he did in the war. But wait, where did the DNA thing come in?
No, because of the bank. Oh, go ahead. What's the next
Yeah.
Greeley crime?
The next
I hope
time.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, here we go.
Wait, you don't have...
I'll get the doo-doo phone. I got it. A caller. Where are you calling from? All right. An unknown location. Reported.
An angry veteran shooting at a flag? No.
Well, there's some shooting involved. This caller, not saying where they were from, reporting having unprotected intercourse.
Oh no! Why you call the police?
Well, they wanted resources on what to do.
Well, but it's good they called the police, but shouldn't you call a hospital?
Yeah.
I mean, I would think, why wouldn't you just go to the urgent care or go to a hospital?
Or planned, where, or somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, or I assume the police just, what to do. Name it after your favorite Barbie character.
I don't understand.
Raise it for 18
why
years.
Would you call at least call the ambulance. But even
Well,
ambulance,
no. Ambulance?
They
No.
They could go to
Call a doctor. Call anybody. Anybody.
Call a friend. Post it on Reddit. Post it on Reddit.
Exactly. Yeah. I just struck with like a rubber. What do I do? Police, help!
Wow.
Send SWAT. Oh yeah.
Aww.
All right. Oh, we have a caller. We do. Oh, hold on. I got my pen
Be
phone.
careful, it's sharp.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't
Well,
hurt
yeah,
yourself.
but actually, you have a good point.
Here,
So does this.
Here, take your teeth phone.
Oh, my key phone.
Yes.
Okay, let me get all this down. Okay, a caller on 9th Street
Yeah.
said he had proof that a supervisor was embezzling money from a local business.
But isn't that for IRS?
Well, it's if you're stealing money from a
Well, wouldn't
company.
it be IRS who investigates fraud?
Apparently it is, because dispatch told them it was not a police matter.
Call the
Yeah.
IRS.
Well, no, the translation is everybody embezzle. If the police are not going to stop you,
It means call the IRS, right?
well, yeah, but
Wouldn't you be whistleblowers? Where do you blow the whistle? I guess you.
yeah,
gotta-
if you call the IRS and say
Yeah,
so and so, you
it's
can.
embezzling, yeah.
But then if you catch them, can the IRS put you in prison without police?
No, but the IRS does the investigation, not the.
Not the cop,
Or
not the
maybe the
local.
FBI if it's federal. I don't know, but not the police.
It'd be great to see all these police in the donut shop, kind of going through the guy's papers. It's like, this looks like a decent
Well,
receipt.
you remember what we saw for that show, Little Reindeer thing, were based on the true story.
Yeah.
And the guy goes in, he's like, the woman's talking, and he shows the police the text. They're like, what can we do, right? Like, you have to have specialized units to do like
I guess.
financial fraud. It's not like,
Yeah, the law and order cops do everything.
But
How
that's
did they
because
do
it's
it?
It's TV.
Well, so is Little Reindeer, or whatever
But
that
it's
show was.
different, yeah.
Caller. Oh, this one's from 4th Avenue.
Oh,
We have a
wow.
caller from 4th Avenue who said that that people
Okay.
were loading things into a truck,
Yeah.
and she heard someone say they, quote, need to load everything up because it's stolen.
That's called TMI.
Yeah, it's sort of
Why
like,
would you say that? Like, oh, hi, what are you doing? Oh, we're just moving some things. I have a storage unit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Can I help you? No, we have to move things
Yeah.
fast because they're stolen. Yeah.
come on, guys, hurry!
Yelling.
It's 2 in the morning. Shh, don't make so much noise with our stolen property. Oh, that's quite wonderful. And by the way, the crook's nickname for her was Mary Never Shuts Her Mouth.
No, it was the guy who probably was like,
This
that's not
is
good.
all
Oh,
right.
sorry.
Oh no, wait, yeah, we have there's so many calls coming in today. I'll get this on the teeth phone. Oh, no, it's been hard to hear. I've been holding them wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
What?
okay. According to the person on the tooth phone, a caller at a restaurant
Ooh.
on 11th
Maybe you should
Avenue.
use the mustard phone.
Yeah, you're right. Damn. Caller on the. Oh no, it's a really bad restaurant.
Oh, maybe is that what happened?
Well, no. On 11th Avenue, saw a man standing outside
Yeah.
without shoes,
Yeah.
holding a large stick like it was a rifle.
Probably the veteran.
Aren't you glad we don't live in Greeley anymore? It's like,
Wow.
well, hey, he's got this. He's holding up like a rifle. I guess it's a stick up. Oh, comedy. Oh, comedy. Yes, okay. I got the bell phone.
Oh wow. Be careful. That's in your ear, honey. Don't
Oh,
hurt
all right. What? I got, according to the double bell phone.
Here, let me give you. Why don't you take? Oh, what happened to here?
Well,
Take a
do we have a
nice-
chicken?
No, take a nice calm phone.
Oh.
There you go.
Oh, the next call will come in on our special Mr. Rogers Red Hotline here. Here we go. This is a caller we're on 9th Avenue who said a woman was running into traffic,
Oh no.
quote, bouncing off cars.
You don't bounce off a car.
Well, you do depending how fast the car's going, but and then screaming at things that weren't there.
Yeah, but how if you bounce off a car?
You bounce off a car, you can it cut off your legs, and you're screaming at your
Maybe
my legs are
she's
off.
screaming in pain. Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. At first I thought it
told
was.
you I saw
Yeah.
that in Lincoln Center where
Yeah.
I was going somewhere and I was walking in Lincoln Center. There's an independent movie theater that was no longer there.
Sure. Was it Paris or something or?
No, it was Film Forum. And
Yeah.
then there was a homeless guy hitting his head against like a wall or something bad, like bashing it, not like
Right.
just like. And I called. It was when they had payphones, and I called the operator and said, "I see this, and I don't know what to do. Like, and you need to send someone." And then, but they had security, and then I think by the time I looked again, they were gone. But it was bad hitting.
Yeah, some people are friggin' crazy or on drugs and
Hold that
stuff.
1 second. No, I think he was having some sort of break.
Oh yeah, well yeah, he's breaking his own skull.
No, I mean you. But I mean you can.
Yeah. So yeah, and this woman was running into traffic on 9th Avenue, screaming at things that weren't there. First, I thought it was Lauren Boebert coming down off her meds, and then they realized it was before she even had her meds. But ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Dave's Gone By with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my marvelous wife, Joyce, and it is our 940th. Uh-oh, this stuff. Oh, it has to do. Oh, no. There we go. No, I thought the teeth were broken. They seem okay. That's better. On this April 20th, 2024, we're doing our Greeley Times segment before we bring in our special guest, Bob Spiotto, who is a writer, a performer. He also is someone who coordinates entertainment and has done so for everything from the Friars Club to Hofstra University over the years. So we're going to have him shortly in the Daverhood talking to the one, the only, the Jewish Rabbi Saul Solomon. And Rabbi Saul will be here with a new rabbinical reflection for Passover. That's coming up later in the show as well.
Is that right after the
Or yeah, when I need a break and I need to pish, I'll bring.
right after the interview?
Well, let me see. How do I have
Oh, you're
things?
gonna put them after that.
I think after the interview, we'll do Bunion Watch,
Okay.
and then after Bunion Watch, I'll bring the rabbi
'Cause your
back.
interview should be what, an hour?
No, well, about half an hour to 40 minutes.
Okay.
Cool. Well, anyway, let's since we have time for it, let's go elsewhere because as part of Greeley Times, we do all these funny stories from Greeley, Colorado. But there's also weird and crazy things happening in the news elsewhere in the country, elsewhere in the world. So we also bring in one or two funny news stories from wherever else. And this one comes from England, or as I like to call it, the United Kingdom. And it's a story that was reported by United Press International. A pet insurance company is inviting the public to vote on some of the most unusual animal monikers for its annual Wacky Pet Names Prize. Now remember, we had Murray and our other dog, Oofty Gooft. People used to raise an eyebrow over Oofty
I'm
Gooft.
surprised because it's so simple.
It's cute. Well, there are people who've named their pets even weirder things than Oofty Gooft.
Really?
Nationwide said the most bizarre names were chosen from the company's currently enrolled pets and split into 3 categories: dog, cat, and exotic. So the finalists in the dog category are Boots with the Fur. This is one of my favorites. Chug Chug. What? Oh, there I am.
Bonnie Lacer show.
Cool. Chug Chug Pickles.
Is that a cat or dog?
Dog.
Oh,
Dog.
that makes cat.
Chug Chug Pickles.
Maybe he likes pickles.
Well, wasn't that the name of Madonna when she was becoming famous? I don't know what that means. Lil Richard Simmons sweating to the oldies.
Oh, I like that.
That's the full name of the dog. Lil Richard Simmons sweating to the oldies.
Well, maybe he's a health nut.
By the time you call the dog, he's already been hit by the car.
Maybe he's a health nut.
It could be,
though.
yeah. He likes to, get
He
up and.
likes to dance, and he likes to sing and play piano, and he has like curly hair.
It could.
and
Oh,
he
it could be like a froofy fro
Maybe
cut.
he wears like little tiny dog shorts too, with glitter. Like glitter shorts.
Yeah. There's also Lord Waddles, which I love.
That's too fancy.
Lord Waddles.
Yes, that's a little precocious.
What about Prince Waddles?
Yes, Prince
Waddles.
Waddles.
Was it? Lulu the Conqueror. That feels more like a
You should
cat
call
name.
him Mr. Tibbs.
Oh,
And they call me
Mr.
Mr.
Tibbs.
Tibbs.
This one's great. Molly from Corporate. Great name. Great name. Mr. Pizza Puff.
Oh, that's cute.
And here's another one where they just go for everything. One Love Tiny Dancer Princess Margaret Rose Windsor.
Wow. Oh, but that's like one of the names. Like Oofty was really King something something, wild hair something
Yeah.
something 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 something, like a pedigree name.
And it also makes me wonder if this news story may have left out a comma. And there's a dog called One Love, another called Tiny Dancer, another one called, or maybe not. Maybe it's all one thing.
No.
And then there's Team the Bandit Player
Oh.
and The News. One interesting name for a dog, The News. Yeah. Which is your favorite so far for the dog?
I think the Richard Simmons one because
Yeah.
you like Richard Simmons.
I like Chug Chug Pickles.
I like the one. What's Mr. Prince or what's his name? Mr. Lord.
One Lord Tiny Dancer Princess Margaret Rose Windsor.
Wow.
Now that's the dog category. We also have the cats.
Of course.
The feline finalists are Balsamic Vin.
Ew.
All right.
That's salad dressing.
Car Alarm. That'd be good for a howling animal.
Yeah,
Or something,
yeah,
Iggy Biggy Kitty Committee.
Oh,
That's
would that be good for a parrot? Car alarm.
oh, Carla, yeah. Iggy
Or
Biggy,
chicken.
yeah. Meow Nays.
Ew, why do they make animal food?
Like food. Yeah, I know. Minerva Meowgonagle.
Oh, I like that.
That
That's
one,
cute.
yeah.
That's cute.
There's something about cat owners though. Necromacat. This is great. Samsung Family Hub refrigerator.
I mean, maybe they said the next thing we hear on TV will be the name of the cat.
And oh, great! Samsung Family Hub refrigerator. Skull Crusher. I would not. No, I would not have a cat
That's
like
for a
that.
pit bull.
Right. Steph Curry. Ha ha. That's a little punny though.
Aw.
And Tony Scarface Baloney. Again, that's more of a dog name than a cat name. So, which is your favorite of those, of the cat names?
I find them all troublesome. I don't like any of those.
You liked it. What was it? Minerva McGonagall, Meowgonagle. No.
They're not good enough. None of these are really
Samsung Family Hub refrigerator is not a great name for it.
Great. I think maybe.
I call him Sam.
Do you think Samsung sponsored the cat? Maybe they're giving them.
Maybe that'd be a good way to get on TikTok with the cat.
Yeah.
Oh, here's our cat. Samsung Family Hub refrigerator. Yeah. And then finalists in the exotic category: a rabbit named Beelzebun.
Oh, that's
Should be Beelzebunny
like
though.
that.
Yeah, I would love that. A ferret named Boo Boo Bean. Yeah, all right, fine.
Not that impressive.
All right. A snake named Boop Noodle.
Oh, that's cute.
Boop Noodle.
Boop, boop, yeah.
I like that.
I like Boop Noodle.
A guinea pig named Cow Pig.
So we had
Oh yeah.
the guy in Colorado named them all he named all the guinea pigs, but he took Star Wars characters and renamed them, and they were so cute. I can't remember them.
Did he play on the words?
Yes,
With those? Oh, that's
yes,
cool.
it would be. I can't think of one like something with pig but he made. They were adorable.
Oh.
Yes.
So, a couple more here. A tegu lizard named Frosted Mini Wheats.
Ugh.
A macaw named Magic Nugget, which is probably what the macaw made every day. A tortoise named Mid-Size Sedan. Come on,
That
that's
makes
clever
sense.
because there's a big.
'cause he's big.
yeah. A ferret named Mumbo Jumbo.
Aw.
A pig
Yeah.
named Snoop Hoggy Hog.
Oh,
Come on.
That's cute.
Snoop Hoggy Hog. And a rabbit, I don't know why I like this, but a rabbit named Thor Odenbun, God of Bunder.
Well, that's because it's a very Norse. You like that Nordic. Yeah.
And voting was open online through last Friday. So I don't know who won, but these are the pet names.
Those are tough. Yeah.
Those are pretty good.
Oofty
Thor
could have kicked
Odenbun.
some butt in that one. Oofty could have.
Oofty, well, it's just cute. I don't think it's weird enough. Well, yeah, Samsung refrigerator Oofty would be. Anyway, it's 1 minute to 10
What about
a.m.
handless soap dispenser Oofty?
See, that's fine. I would.
Yeah.
Yes,
He was
absolutely.
famous because the vet put him on the website with his red ball, and then they said, like his human mom says, "Dame la pelota." Remember, he said,
Oh,
"Dame
yeah.
la pelota, dame la pelota," and he would give him the ball. He was famous. He had his moment in the sun.
Oh yeah, and our other dog was a model in terms of all the things that were wrong with him. He became written up in journals.
Yeah, he was
I was like, we've never seen this combination of problems in a dog before. Let's put this in a veterinary journal. Anyway,
They gave back.
it is 10 a.m. Eastern time in the
Jeez,
Daverhood.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And so our guest is ready and waiting in the waiting room here on
that's
Zoom.
Not bueno, honey. We gotta.
Well, yeah. So I've got to bring Rabbi Saul Solomon into the
you have a guest
Daverhood.
flying in?
Oh, Aki. Aki's paying a visit. Hello, Aki. We'll get to Aki later. We've got Rabbi Saul Solomon, the founder of and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches. He is going to be doing a rabbinical reflections, kind of a mini sermon later. But right now, he has the fun and honor of talking to a writer, a performer, a programming director, if you will, of entertainment. Oh, a human being. Yes, we have a human with us. Bob Spiotto, and he's going to be doing his one-man shows all over Long Island over the next couple of months. You're going to want to see him, and you're going to want to stay right here as Rabbi Saul Solomon interviews him on Dave's Gone By. Where are my Joyba ring gels? Oh, shalom, my friends, and shalom, my enemies, and shalom, everybody, to you live here on this Shabbos morning. It is April 20th, 2024, and I am still me, and I am still Jewish, and I am Rabbi Sal Solomon of blessed memory, here in front of you just a couple of days before the wonderful holiday of Pesach, and to celebrate, what's better way to celebrate anything than with art and entertainment and lecturing? Here's a person that we're going to have with us momentarily on the program here that does all of these and does them about all these different characters, all these legends of the show business, if you will. And I know you will. So we're going to have a man who is playing Joel Grey, a man who is playing Danny Kaye, a man who is playing that great song and dance man, Giovanni de Verrazzano. Here he is coming all the way from Long Island. I will have you. Oh, and he's even unmuted his thing, so he should be all ready. Won't you welcome to the Jewish Daverhood, Bob Spiotto. Shalom, Bob.
Hello.
How you doing? How's it going?
How are you? Oh, I'm so glad we're both wearing red.
The Rabbi in red. Here I am, the Rabbi in red. So shalom, Bob. You see, you got that soggy dancing thing that you do when you do people like Heidi Cantor and Joel Grey and things like that. So first of all, shalom, and how you doing, Bob? How's it?
I'm very good. How are you?
Can you angle you give yourself a little less headroom and a little more tiggy room? Yeah. Oh no, too much. Yeah. Oh, now you're looking good. Looking good. So, what's new with you, Bob? How's your year going?
It's been very, look, I am so grateful. I'm so thankful. It's been so busy. In addition to my job as the director of events and the clubhouse manager at Country Point in Plainview, there's just been a lot of other wonderful outside opportunities for performances and creativity. And I'm doing things from Manhattan to Montauk and everywhere in between. So wow. I'm all over.
That's a lot of miles, because Manhattan to Montauk, that's 3.5 hours on the Long Island Railroad. No, sorry, it's the Long Island Railroad. 5.5 hours on the Long Island Railroad. But no, I'm kidding. But let me ask you. So let's take it back.
Yes.
We'll talk about all the shows you're doing, including the Joel Grey one that's coming up very, very shortly. It's like this week or next week?
Tomorrow.
So, there is this. So tomorrow, well, technically tomorrow's next week. But okay.
Right.
Where are you doing it?
I will be at the Lynbrook Public Library.
Lynbrook! Oh, I know it well. Oh my God, there was a guy who got knifed in Lynbrook about 25 years ago by a gang. But that is the only crime that ever happens there. It's otherwise a really safe and wonderful neighborhood.
It is, I think, yes.
Lynbrook Public Library, and it's their Joel Grey is called Shades of Shades. So
yes.
The doc. By Grey. So are you impersonating him? Are you just giving a lecture about him and doing some? So what is it?
Okay, so all of these tributes that I do, whether it's Danny Kaye, Joel Grey, Verrazzano, P.T. Barnum, Primo Levi, Sholem Aleichem, who I also do. Yes, you heard of him, I know. I don't necessarily try to impersonate per se. I try to embody the spirit. I try to give the audience a sense, a feel of these individuals. So I'm not necessarily, again, impersonating. I don't do crazy prosthetics and makeup. Not that I need much prosthetic over here, but that's besides the point with this proboscis.
You're talking to a Jew here. So, hey, I'm going to veer off from this because Sholem Aleichem, Danny Cantor, you've done, Danny Kaye, you, Spiotto, I imagine you're Italian.
That is correct. Even though the name on the bottom says Rochelle, that's my wife's name. I'm on her computer if you see it.
Oh, well, yeah. So thank you, Rochelle, for letting the man be there. But let me ask you, so Italian, how come you're not doing, at the moment, more Italian? And how come you're not doing Dean Martin, let's say, or something?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's funny you bring up Dean Martin because I also do a show called That's Amore, which is
Oh,
about not Dean Martin, it's about Harry Warren. Harry Warren was the amazing and incredible composer for thousands of songs that were used in the movies. He was really known as Mr. Hollywood Musical. But when I try to promote that show, people say, "Oh, Bob, we'd love a show about Dean Martin." But it's not about Dean Martin. It's about the man who wrote That's Amore and many, many other songs.
he also wrote songs for the Marx Brothers. So, which kind of
Yes, yes.
back to Jewishness.
And even songs from music and films that Eddie Cantor was in. So I find that there's a lot of crossover with a lot of these people that I resonate with or resonate with me. And I don't know if they're finding me or I'm finding them or both. But you know, we have a word in Italian. It's actually a Sicilian word that's appropriate. We say that this is beschert. You know from this word.
This where I go from, I do. You must have grown up with Jews because you know you're a New Yorker. You must have been surrounded by Yidlach to have the cadence. You've got the language too. But let me ask you: were you raised Catholic, Italian, or just
Yes,
non-religious,
yes.
or what? Yeah.
Yes. Catholic elementary school, at Catholic high school. I even did my graduate work at the Catholic University of America in Washington.
What is it? It's called. Is it called
The
Catholic?
Catholic University of America. That's what it's called. It's in Washington, D.C.
Involved. So after all that religion being drummed into you, do you still go to church, or are you kind of just secular and you know?
I'm more secular. I don't attend church, but there's a very much a spiritual sense about me. And I do connect on those various levels to the best of my ability. So there's definitely something else going on out there.
So you seem like a cool guy that's hard to offend. So I will ask this question: do you believe in Jesus Christ, and if so, why?
Uh,
I mean, have you ever spoken to him? Have you ever, you know, has he appeared?
no. I speak to a lot of people. I speak to a lot. I speak to the universe, the guides, the guardians, the ancestors. They're all around. Yeah, that's why I really feel as of late, there's been a lot of wonderful positivity coming to me. Thanks to my wife, I meditate every day now.
Oh,
I find that
I
very,
do
very
that.
helpful.
Oh no, wait, masturbate's wrong word. Okay,
It's different. Yeah, it's very
yeah,
different.
very
Different location. You know, the head is involved, just the wrong one.
Oh, you're good. Oh, you are good, my friend. Yes, indeed. I love this. So let me ask you, what was the first one-man show that you ever put together years ago?
Believe it or not, it was the Danny Kaye. It was Courting the Jester, my musical tribute to Danny Kaye, and I worked on that show. I mean, that's been kicking around since 2001.
That long ago, all right. Yeah. So you already had some years. You were at Hofstra at that point still, or where were you at?
I was, and I had done so many shows. I mean, I've been doing shows, and I've been in this creative world since day one, maybe before day one.
Oh, so that wasn't. So what was your first show on day one, or what?
Okay, so the first show I was ever in, you mean as a kid?
Oh, as an actor, yeah. But yes, what was it?
That was The Sound of Music.
And were you Maria or who?
No, I wanted to play Maria, but you know that didn't work. I just couldn't impersonate her as an elementary school kid. Nowadays, you probably could. It would be fun.
Nowadays, then once you was Maria, you can't get into the show.
No, I obviously played. I played Kurt. I played one of the Von Trapp.
Show. And this was in what? High school, junior high school? Where?
Elementary school.
Oh,
elementary school.
McMuzzle McClick. So did you get the bug, or were you just doing
yes.
it because
yes.
you loved it?
I did, and that was it. And then from that point on, I was doing shows in elementary school, high school. I went to an all boys high school, so they had to ship the girls in for rehearsals. But and that was the first time in high school that I was really introduced to Joel Grey because I played the Master of Ceremonies in Cabaret.
At that age, you were in Cabaret. That's it's kind of interesting. They ship the girls in for rehearsal and they ship them out pregnant because no. Anywho, but so you were the MC in Cabaret. You were in Sound of Music. What were some of the other shows that you were in as a teen or child?
Okay, so all right, so as a teen or as a child, I let's see, I played Oliver in.
You were Oliver in
Oliver.
Oliver. I see.
In Oliver.
No offense, I see you more as the Artful Dodger type. Because you're
Um,
so, no.
For whatever reason, that director at that time, again in elementary school, saw me more as an Oliver. And so I did that. And there were a couple of other smaller shows in elementary school. High school was, again, more important because that's when Cabaret came along. I was in Pippin, played the leading player, believe it or not.
So you can dance. I didn't realize.
Yes.
Oh,
I was I was the single male for the most part in the all-female dance school in Flushing for well over 10 years. I learned a lot.
so you learned to dance. That must have been a happy time.
Yes.
It's like, and you didn't even have, because in a place like that, even if they had more males that would have been all homosexual, you still would have had your pick. But and I mean, so here's the deal. Once you got out of high school, I assume you wanted to be in the arts. Is that what you studied in college, or did your parents say, no, do business?
My parents were always incredibly supportive. I used to play the flute in the band. I used to play the guitar, not at the same time. So I was always involved in so many different things. Even through college, I was doing clowning, and I dressed up as a mime. I was doing singing telegrams all over. I was so active in college, not only in shows, but doing publicity for the drama department. I have a BFA in theater performance from Hofstra. My master's is in directing from Catholic University. So it was one thing after another. I mean, one thing led to another, and all of these opportunities, whether I was seeking them out or, again, they were finding me, it was always just so special and so wonderful. The synergy was great.
Let me ask you about directing at Catholic University. I mean, it was a master's level thing, but were there projects that you wanted to do or kids wanted to do? Kids, they were already almost adults there, or they were the master's program. But the university was like, don't do that play. Nah, you can't do Rent, or you can't do Agnes of God, or whatever the hell it is, or there was kind of gloves off because it was theater. Just happened to be a religious-ish school.
I don't recall there being any issues like that. As a student there and as a graduate student, all of the courses were heavily focused on directing, obviously. I mean, we took playwriting courses, some additional acting courses, but we were really targeted and focused, a handful of us, on following through on our desire to become working directors. Because I had also done so many things prior to that, it was very helpful. And while I lived in Washington, D.C. for about 3.5 years, 4 years, I was consistently working and teaching. I was directing children's shows. I was directing high school shows. I was really keeping myself incredibly active, doing a lot of different things. I was involved in a Shakespearean production while I was there. So I was also acting at Catholic University while being enrolled in the graduate directing program. So many opportunities, because when you're in Washington, D.C., you go 5 minutes this way, you're in Maryland. You go 5 minutes this way, you're in Virginia. My thesis project, which I directed at the Little Theater of Alexandria in Virginia, was Man of La Mancha. It actually won an award that year for one of the best local productions. And it was a very intimate production. People think of Man of La Mancha as this, very, very big kind of huge Broadway. Yeah,
well, the first half takes place in a dungeon, so
exactly. And I took that little theater and made the audience feel like they were in jail, that they were in the dungeon. The prisoners, everybody was around them. I'll never forget that production, because for me, it was another one of those milestones, at least in my development, at least so I thought.
Yeah, no, I was doing some kind of prison play, and I actually had members of the audience get raped. But then there was some night and
closed right away. Yeah, exactly.
It was the soap dropping play, we called it, nicknamed it. Anyway, but let me ask you though. So it seems like your career was on a trajectory for you to be a director across America, or a director off Broadway, and maybe, God willing, at Broadway. That was not how your career went. Now, I'm not saying good or bad. I'm just wondering, why didn't it? What happened?
I don't really know. People ask that question and, that people will say to me, well, Bob, have you ever been, on Broadway? And I say, yes, I've been on Broadway in Hicksville, on Long Island. I've been on Broadway, every town has a Broadway, right? Did I audition once or twice? I think I did. I mean, but I don't even remember what I auditioned for, to be honest with you, in the city. I know I took some dance classes in the city for a while, but so many opportunities were presenting themselves to me, or I was just automatically seeking them out on Long Island and in the general area, that I just kept going.
But we're talking about marketing now, not even directing or acting. We're talking
All of
acting,
the
everybody
above.
understands. Huh?
Teaching. I mean, at Hofstra, I was teaching classes, continuing education classes. I was teaching acting classes for children, clown classes, improvisation, adult classes while at Hofstra. And that was while I was a student at Hofstra. I also became the mascot for the football team. And I was out on the football field entertaining and performing.
All right, wait, time out. First of all, what was, maybe they've changed it. What was the Hofstra mascot?
At that time, the mascot was a screaming Dutchman.
Why? Is Hofstra a Dutch name?
Dutch,
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
Dutch roots, yes.
So did you just go through this screaming?
Well,
What did you have to do as a mascot?
I was a very Dutch with the fancy hat and the sword and the cape. I mean, it was a real character. But then I was changing outfits and doing other little funny characters and getting everybody riled up out on the field and also in the stands. Obviously there was a pep band that would play. And after a while, I mean, the football team wanted me to go with them on their away games. The basketball team wanted me.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. And I did that for 3 years of the 4 years that I was at Hofstra, in addition to being in shows. Because obviously my track at Hofstra was that of a performer. So, I mean, I was
before Catholic, you were directing.
Yeah, this was before. Yes, exactly. But while I was at Hofstra, I was also doing a lot of directing in junior high schools and high schools. There were times when I had 3 and 4 shows that I was directing at the same time.
Were you paid for that? You weren't just volunteering. These were
yes,
paid.
no volunteer work. No, that's why I'm saying I'm so grateful. And I was really, and then I started my own private little company called Commedia Concepts. And I was doing, narrations and coaching. And then I created this clown character because I had played the role of Touchstone in Shakespeare's As You Like It. And I think that was the start of my connection to the fool, who's really the smartest one of the bunch.
You're on this program with me. You are connected to a fool. Trust me. Yes, sir.
So I kind of took on that character, created a costume and created and now all of a sudden I was entertaining at parties and other events and got involved with a couple of other people on Long Island who were running at that time these singing telegram companies. There were, and so I was going around. I mean, I don't think you could do those today. That nobody would let you in anywhere. But I was going into buildings and homes and doing.
Got to stop you there again. What is the weirdest, funniest thing that ever happened when you were delivering a singing telegram?
Oh boy. Wow. I think I don't know if I remember any one specific element other than the fact that, look, these were all surprises, right? And nobody knew they were going to get a singing telegram. So there was always that element of, oh my God, what is this? What's happening? What's going on here? Some people were a little turned off. Some people were a little embarrassed. Other people really, really got into it. But I think the one time, which was funny to me, on occasions, I would also have to deliver the balloons with the singing telegrams. I had a small car at the time. The balloons used to be bagged up into a big garbage bag, and I used to have to wedge them into my car carefully. Well, one night or one day, I don't even remember, but I took the bag of balloons out of my car, and the wind came, and up went the bag and the balloons. Yeah. I guess bound to happen.
I mean, if that's the worst thing that ever happened. I thought maybe you came in with anniversary flowers and a song, and you walked in on the wife stooping like the mail.
No. Thankfully, there were no issues with that, other than just people being, I guess, surprised. But yeah.
So all of these things are kind of leading ultimately back to Hofstra, though. Once you're done, I mean, you were there for like 20 something years, no?
Well, Hofstra, I'm talking just as a student. And then, of
Oh,
course, and then I wound up doing more work on the island. I wound up auditioning for other graduate schools. Catholic University accepted me. I had been put on a waiting list the year before for Carnegie Mellon, and that didn't pan out, but I was very thankful to have wound up in Washington.
You should have applied to
And,
Carnegie Orange. They're much more accepting. I know. Wow. Ding, ding. No, that's one ding right there. That's
just one.
yeah, one.
And then Hofstra wound up, I had stayed in touch with Hofstra while I was in Washington. And one of my colleagues who I had gone to school with was working there. And I obviously knew a lot of people. And the then president of the university, who I had gotten along with very, very well, had been in touch with one of his friends. And we were talking, and it came up. I was basically invited to come back, and they wanted to create a position for me. Yeah, again, very, very fortunate. And they did, and I came back, and then it was,
And what did you do in that as an actual position? Because were you still directing, or were you were bringing in things? What?
Directing, producing, teaching, acting, everything. Running big international festivals, working with the Cultural Center, booking classical artists, creating programming, working very much with the academic departments to advance their goals and their mission when they were presenting, say, a interdisciplinary conference. So there might be a 3-day conference on something, and my charge was to come up with the musical or the theatrical or the creative element to enhance that. So it was so creative for me. I was able to commission some pieces, find pieces, direct, create, work with people like Tova Feldsha.
And what, she's been on this program. What did you work with her for?
So I wound up reaching out to Tova. She wound up playing Sarah Bernhardt for me.
Whoa.
Yes. Yeah. It was a one woman.
Tova, let alone Sarah. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, right. I mean, she was brilliant. We had such a great time. We're still in touch. We still speak on occasion. Of course, I've run into her when I was at the Friars Club on several occasions. But so, yeah, I really had some amazing creative opportunities at Hofstra, working there, but also being able to perform again. And that was amazing because
perfect gig because
came home, Yeah.
No, and also just like you were doing so many different times you could just book people, but other times you had to direct some. Other times you were performing, and this whole time you're making a salary and getting benefits. I mean, does life get better than that?
Right.
Why? So that lasted over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a reason you left what sounds like a perfect job?
I didn't leave. They decided that they wanted to go in a bit of a different direction. Their goals and their focus really shifted more to the law school, to the medical school, things of this nature. And all of these amazing programs that we were providing for the community with Hofstra Entertainment all just stopped. And I had been called into the office of the provost on a warm June afternoon, and he and the assistant provost basically told me that as of August 31st of that year, just a few months in advance of this meeting, that Hofstra Entertainment would no longer exist, and unfortunately that I would no longer have a position. Needless to say, devastated, shock of all shocks. But they allowed me to continue that summer season, which hadn't even begun yet. It had already been promoted and publicized. So I was able, some people are given maybe 2 weeks notice.
True.
I was given 3 months notice, which,
all right. I mean, fair enough. But then you're working that whole time. Was your resume out? I mean, were you terrified?
Oh, absolutely. Sure. Because I thought I'd be at Hofstra for the rest of my days. I figured they would find me dead in the stairway or on stage or something at some point, right?
Now, that's Columbia. But
I'm sorry I don't have a bell to ding.
I'll do that one.
Okay. But thankfully, once again, I had remembered, because I've always been very, very in touch with so many Long Island theater people over the years and gotten to know so many people. I remembered that the Suffolk Theater in Riverhead had been kicking around for a while, that it had closed back in 1987. The last film they ever showed there was Dirty Dancing. And it basically had just been sitting there. But I remembered reading some articles that there was someone who was thinking of reopening it, restoring it to its 1930s grandeur and glory. I contacted that man. We got together, and after a few weeks, he hired me to be the first artistic director, executive artistic director. And that place then did open, so I was involved with everything leading up to the grand opening of this grand and glorious space. I was there for about a year. It was tough. It was a tough area, and an area that didn't have anything like this. And when you're opening a new theater or a performing arts center, whatever you'd like to call it, and you want it to be a cultural center for a neighborhood that is consistently being revitalized, that takes time. There's never an overnight success. And it's tough when you're told to use your formula so that everything can magically happen. Yeah. Okay, it's not can't be Disney World overnight.
Now, the reason you're telling this is because you lasted there just over a year. That's right. They didn't even give you like 3 years to build an audience, build a season, build a thing. Exactly. What was your greatest success there? What do you feel most proud of when you were at the Suffolk Theater?
Oh. Well, the fact that I was involved with the opening, and the opening was spectacular. The spotlights, the 1930s cars parked outside, everybody dressed. The year that it opened, Mayor Fiorello H. LaGuardia was the mayor of New York City when the Suffolk Theater first opened in Riverhead. So I brought my friend, the actor Tony LoBianco, out as LaGuardia because he had done the Broadway show, His Honor. And what's funny is that I had worked with Tony at Hofstra on a LaGuardia show. So he came out, Vince Giordano and the Nighthawks. Now, Vince.
Oh, we know them. They've been on this program as well. Yes, yes.
I mean, amazing. They were the music that night. It really was a very, very special night. And there were other performers and performances in the time that I was there, because I was trying everything, because I didn't know what was going to stick. I wanted to throw it all against the wall and see what would hold. I wound up doing, I remember doing a showing of My Fair Lady to celebrate an anniversary. So we showed the film because we could show films in there. And I brought in Rex Harrison's grandson. Yeah, I mean, little just unique things like that. I did a Moonstruck night and brought Anita Gillette out, who played Mona.
Another person who's been on this program. I'm sorry, I just have to.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But was it the fact that audiences just didn't know to go there, or you were assuming the audience was this age and they were actually that age? I mean, why didn't it take off? Because they said, oh, we want a different direction. What direction did they want to go? Rock concerts? What did they want?
Well, and we were doing some of that. I was bringing in jazz. I mean, Ambrosia came, for crying out loud. I mean, I was booking.
All right, yeah.
I was booking, or tried to book, a lot of different things to see. But as you point out, and this is totally true, it does take time to develop that. There's just so much trial and error in a place where nothing has been. So I guess the combination of my vision and my goals and my willingness to give my blood, sweat, and tears, which I do all the time, it just, believe it or not, I guess it just wasn't fast enough. And so
they went a different.
That was that, and that's fine. I moved on. There was a brief period of looking again and searching, and then thankfully, I wound up at the Friars Club, the legendary Friars Club.
Explain to our audience, especially women, what the Friars Club is, and what they're still. Did they finally close, or is it the Players Club, the Friars Club? They died like a couple of years ago, but what were they?
So the Friars Club we're talking well over 100 years in existence, and in various locations in New York City. Started as a group of men who wanted to get together. Many of them were press agents working on various shows. At that time, they needed a place to gather, so they would gather in restaurants. And before you know it, they wanted to formalize this in a way that they could come together, bring more people together, and they wanted some kind of fraternity. They wanted to give themselves a name, a moniker. They wanted to be recognized as such. And that's how kind of this idea of the friars came into existence, and then just grew and grew and blossomed and blossomed. And they went from place to place to place. Eventually, at least where I was, and for a good number of years, they were on East 55th between Park and Madison. An incredible building, beautiful, beautiful building.
Which is now what? Do you even know what it turned into?
Empty. Well, because unfortunately the club folded.
No, I was wondering if maybe a Gristides took it over or something.
No, there's nothing in there. It's just the building, and everything is still in there as far as I know. I mean, I don't know, and I have no idea what's going on. I obviously am still in touch with and so thankful for having made so many amazing and wonderful connections.
Did you know Freddie Roman?
I did, yes. Freddie and I worked on a few events together. May he rest in peace.
Oh
yeah.
Oh yeah. And who else? I mean, legends. When were you at the Friars? What years? When was that?
So that was 2012, I guess.
So not that long ago.
Not that long ago, no. And and for the time prior to that, a lot of the members were trying to put their own little shows together. And they were doing what they could with that, but they never had a person who was identified, and I had been recommended by a wonderful, dear, talented friend by the name of Laura Slutsky, who was a longtime friar.
Yes.
You might. Laura's from that Woodmere area, Lynbrook, if you,
Yes, damn it, yes.
Okay.
We called her Laura the Slut. She didn't like that.
Yeah, that's so only one. Yeah, she had recommended to the then executive director, and she said, I got the guy for you. If you're looking for somebody who can come in and produce and put these things together and perform and write and narrate and be a master of ceremonies and blah, 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 I got the guy. I met with him, and he basically offered me the position. And so
you must have been back in heaven again. Because after Hofstra, with all the stuff you got to do there, I mean, now you're doing it, and you're putting together shows, and it's like, oh yeah, maybe Henny Youngman was probably gone by then.
Gone.
But what legendary people were you surrounded by that wanted to do things that you helped go?
At any given time, there might be actually somebody in the club, but when we renamed the Richard Lewis John downstairs, the restroom, the men's room, which we posted all over Facebook, obviously. I mean, may he rest in peace. But yeah, so I mean, people like him, Robert Klein, for example.
Another person who's been on this program. Yeah.
I'm sure. I mean, Robert did a show for me at Country Point last spring. Judy Gold. I mean,
you know what? Give me Judy Gold's goddamn email, because I've been trying to get her for 20 years.
Oh yeah, you got to get her. She's got to be.
Oh, she's hilarious.
Amazing. But I mean, I had the pleasure of working with Dina Martin. Speaking of Dean Martin, Dean's daughter.
Yeah.
And of course, again, a Freddie Roman, Gilbert Gottfried, Jerry Lewis.
Oh, Jerry Lewis.
He's ever on your show.
Whoa. Do you have a Jerry Lewis story?
Not.
It doesn't have to be a bad one. It can be a long one.
No. To be honest, I really don't have a story other than the few times that he came to the club and that amazing film that he did, Max Rose.
Oh, that one. Okay,
yeah.
Not the clown one. Okay, no,
not the clown one. But we did a screening, and Jerry was there, and he sat there. Speaking of red, because he very often wore that red sweater, and he just sat there on the director's chair, and it was, I mean, to be in the room where it happened, unreal, with him.
Were you involved in any of the roasts? Because that's what the Friars are most sort of known for now.
So when Jeff Ross took over a lot of those various roasts, and he was doing those things for Comedy Central, the club itself was less involved. But we were doing special tributes. So while I was there was an amazing tribute that we did, not at the club, because we had to do them at large hotels in the city. We were at Cipriani, down in Wall Street, and various other locations, the Hilton Hotel, the Ziegfeld Ballroom. I was involved with the Martin Scorsese tribute, which was amazing. The stars that were involved in that, obviously incredible. We did a Billy Crystal tribute, which was also amazing. So, you know, there were so many opportunities while I was there, and I was creating programs and events and combining the dinner and the entertainment and comedy nights and musical nights and it just lectures, you know, very much what I do now at Country Point.
Country Point. So this is now again, Country Point is Plainview, is it, or where is it?
Plainview.
Plainview. Which is that Nassau, Suffolk, where they
right on the border, literally right on the border.
So what are some of the events besides the ones that we'll talk about that you're doing that you brought in to Country Point, like what lectures?
So as I
yeah.
kind of alluded to a few minutes ago, I was able to work with the Northwell system, and Northwell became a partner in
group, aren't they? Yeah.
The hospital.
Aren't they a medical thing,
Northwell? Oh, tremendous, huge, yeah. Well, because Plainview Hospital is right down the road from Country Point.
You know, we know the age of the people we're talking about.
Yeah. Country Point is over 55, but a very, very active over 55. We have over 660 units. So you figure there's at almost 2 people to every unit, maybe 3. We have well over 1,000 people. That's my captured audience that come to these things. And they've been very, very supportive because they haven't had the kinds of things that I've been doing there in almost 3 years that I've been there. It's been a very, very busy 3 years for all of us. But as I mentioned, I created this Laughter is the Best Medicine comedy series with Northwell, and that was Robert Klein and Judy Gold.
Wait, not the same day. You brought them on different.
Oh yeah, no, exactly, no. I did an AGT night, America's Got Talent night recently, where I brought in one of the magicians who people remember from America's Got Talent, along with a comedian who actually may have been on your show, Dan Natterman. No.
Is he funny?
He's funny.
That's all I want to know.
Yes.
Put me in touch. I would love
to.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
So yeah, and the magician on that show is Eric Wilzig, also a Long Island guy. Very good. They loved him.
Yeah.
But we've done. I did a whole celebration. You know, last year was the big anniversary for the founding of the state of Israel. I'm sure you must have done a whole. You heard of this? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
I kind of retooled and reworked a production that I had directed in the city called Harry and Eddie, written by the late playwright Mark Weston. It's about the founding of the state of Israel. It's basically a 3-character play, and it reveals and uncovers a piece of Jewish American history that even Jews don't know about.
So it's Harry Truman?
Harry Truman, yes. And Eddie Jacobson. Yeah.
Eddie Jacobson was a haberdasher or an actor?
He was, exactly right. Yeah. Exactly. I should give you a bell for that. Boy, you're right. I'm telling. Thank you.
I'll let you share my bell here. Hold your hand.
So I've been trying to bring in a real interesting variety, and of course, all the various musical nights that we do when we have big events, you know, bar and lounge nights. I've done bingo with Bob. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And just so many and the residents have become more inspired now to do things. We have a resident, and I've been coaching some of the residents. We're doing a famous women in history event in a couple of weeks, and there's about 9 or 10 women. And this was the brainchild of one of the residents, and she came to me and said, "Bob, I have this idea. Can we make this happen?" To which I always say, of course. Anything creative like this that brings the community together and allows people to do really what they want to do, you know, that's exciting.
Actually, can I ask you for the events that you guys do, whether you're acting in them or the residents?
Right.
Is it only for residents, or is it
correct?
The public can they? So the general public is
residents only. Yeah. Which makes it feel a little country club-like when you think about it, because again, you know, it's almost like you're in a country club, you're paying dues to be a member of that club, even though we know what Groucho Marx said about being a member of a certain country club. But in any case, it's similar to that, but it's also very similar to the way the Friars Club was. Because sometimes limited guests could be brought, but then the club was a very small space. The ballroom at Country Point is a large space.
Was it like 900 seats or how many was?
No, not that large, not
Oh,
that
I
large.
don't
No.
know.
Yeah, no, we're more in that, seated theater style. We can get 250,
Oh,
275.
so it's like an off-Broadway house kind of thing.
If
Like
you want to
vineyard
compare it
theater.
to the numbers, you could
Yeah, yeah.
say that. But we've done health lectures, author appearances. Actually, this is another one that would be of interest, I think, to you and maybe some of your audience.
Yeah.
We have an author coming in doing a presentation on, does the name Marty Glickman mean anything to you?
Oh, New York Jets, ladies and gentlemen. Wasn't he the announcer? Yes or no?
He was an athlete. He was a sport. I mean, he did everything. And we have a gentleman, his name is Jeff Gorak, the author, who's written a book about him. We're bringing him in. But we also run outside trips. Our Italian club is taking a trip to Arthur Avenue in the Bronx in a couple of weeks. We've got trips going to some of the local theaters to see some of the various productions. So there's just a lot going on, in addition to just all the daily activities, the games, who's playing Mahjong, who's playing canasta.
Are you involved in that too? Is that your thing as an activity?
I don't necessarily get actively involved in those unless we're doing something big, such as a tournament of some sort, that brings it up a notch. But look, the people come and go. The clubhouse is pretty much, if Country Point is Emerald City, I'm the Wizard of Oz, blah, blah. No bell.
Hold the bell.
But don't.
No.
So, but it's exciting. It really feels a little like, I mean, in another life, I was probably a tumbler in the Catskills. There's no question about that, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I feel like I'm doing here, because I'm doing my own little stand-up comedy with everybody every day, and that's what it's fun.
Now, can I ask you? There's this place in New York called Manhattan Plaza, where you have people who are in the arts, and then you have to get on a waiting list for like 74 years, and then just before you die, you get an apartment. Is Country how booked? How long can people get into Country Point, or do you
sold out
until
just recently? Yeah.
So who's dying? Who's 88 there and not in good shape? So that we can name on the. Just asking. I'm just wondering. No, but seriously, is there a way?
Everything has gone to contract within the last, I think, month or so, and now several homes are waiting to close. People will move in, and the sponsor, who is the builder, Beechwood Homes, one of the biggest around, they'll be out, and then the place will be run and overseen by the HOA and the management company. And
I'm lost. This has been already open. What are you talking here? You're saying there's more apartments being built, or I don't get it.
No. But it still has to be managed and run in general. Yes. Yeah, with everything that goes on.
Okay, but there's no. But what I'm saying is, if somebody wants to move to this wonderful apartment building complex thing with 55 and older and wants to partake, because the general public is not allowed, you have to be there.
Right.
Will there be openings to do that?
If unfortunately by fate or some other reason something becomes available, then there will be resales, and there have been resales. There have been resales already.
They don't pay rent. They're owners also.
That is all owners. Yes.
Wow.
You're buying your condo, you're buying your townhome, you're buying your villa, and those are the three options you have. And the clubhouse itself is almost 25,000 square feet, 3 floors. We have a game room, we have TVs, a couple of bars.
This is wonderful, but now you're telling us all this stuff about a place that nobody can go to. Why are you wasting my fucking time with this? Tell us about things that you're doing that humans who aren't part of this complex.
Right. Okay.
This soma making machine. Where can we see you?
Okay.
The general public.
Right. So the perfect segue, as I said, tomorrow with my musical director, Steve Pagano from East Meadow, we'll be doing the Joel Grey, the Shades of Grey.
Where?
And that's at the Lynbrook Public Library at
everybody-
1:30. Yeah,
Anybody can see that, right?
exactly,
Like,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
What's next?
And
What else? Yeah, what other?
Joel, by the way, Joel Gray just turned 92 years young on April 11th.
Mazel. Hey, look, Marilyn May is 96, so she's.
Love Marilyn May. Love
Right.
Marilyn
Yeah, I
May.
mean,
Yes,
that's amazing. Some of the things that
Yes.
people are doing. So,
unreal.
are you
So
gonna
yeah,
do a
so there's
Marilyn
that.
May show, or would you ever do a woman?
No,
or
Marilyn,
impersonate?
it's funny, I had the opportunity of taking a few fun vocal classes with Marilyn, and I, of course, used to see some of her shows. She did some things for us at the Friars over the years. I actually ran into Marilyn on the street. I didn't run her over, I ran into her. Any case. But a couple of weeks ago when I was in the city meeting, I may be doing something in the city with Friars, but at the Iridium in the city, in the fall.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll see how that turns out. But so yeah, so
Actually, my question is maybe relevant. Have you ever thought of doing a one-person show, even since you don't have to be the other person, for
Right.
a famous woman like a Mae West or a, I don't know, some other great performer? Because you don't have to be dress up as them. You could still sing their songs. You could still tell about who they were and what they did. Possibly, maybe.
I've never thought of that, but what is more appealing to me would be to like run into or meet someone who is focused on or has a real soul connection to some historic figure, whether they're in showbiz or not, and wanted to work on creating a one-person experience. And then I would help them to maybe write that and direct that. That to me would be much, more exciting.
But aren't you working on other things for yourself?
Yes. So
Yeah.
the Verrazano piece, which is going to be May 5th at the Montauk Library. There's that striking picture. This particular show, which is also a one-man show based on some letters and his writings, this one is really taking a toll on me. No bell. Oh, a little bell.
This is like a joke. It's like that bridge that collapsed in Maryland right there. That's just, like, please. No,
and this is all because the director of programs who's been out at the Montauk Library, Carolyn Balducci, who's a real, she loves theater. She's just so incredibly well educated. She loves to research. She had me do a Leonardo da Vinci one-man presentation a couple of years ago, and I've done my other shows out there. I've done the Joel Gray. I've done a one-man show about the poetry of Michelangelo. Yeah. So
are some of those non-musical? Are they
yes,
more lecture-y, bio-y kind of thing? Oh, I'm sure. Okay. So the Verrazano.
Verrazano, May 5th at the
Montauk
Library.
The Bridge Over Troubled Waters or anything like that.
No, I was joking with her quite often as to what she was going to call it, a bridge too far, or a crossing over, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But so that's May 5th. And just this past week was the big 500th anniversary of when Verrazano sailed into and basically discovered, because he was commissioned by the French, he was working for the French at the time, he discovered basically New York Harbor, Block Island, and Narragansett Bay. And they did a big thing in Staten Island this past week.
I imagine they would. So here's one. What is one that you haven't done yet that you're researching and...
Okay, so believe it, and you will appreciate this. The one that I'm working on slowly is the Cantor and Cantor. Now, Cantor and Cantor was my idea of connecting with a cantor who works at, he's a cantor in Jericho. His name is David Katz. Okay.
Good name, yes.
Yes, good name, yes.
I thought you were going to connect Eddie Cantor and Cantor's Deli in LA.
No.
So
somebody told me about Cantor Katz. They told me, Bob, you have to hear this man. He is incredible. He sings everything. He does all of the various cantorial songs, but he also does musical theater. He soars. He's legit. He's just, it's incredible. And you should do a show with him, or maybe you could bring him to Country Point and you could, but you'll figure something out. This is someone who I guess was part of the congregation in Jericho at some point. So I connected with the cantor. I made a cantor connection, and I thought, I've been wanting, and I've done some Eddie Cantor material along the line, over the years here and there. I thought this is the perfect opportunity to put a show together with Cantor, as in David Katz, doing all sorts of unique, interesting material that he can just soar on, and me doing Eddie Cantor.
Oh, I was wondering where that came. Got it. Let me ask you. In these times, I have two different Eddie Cantor questions for you.
Okay.
One is, I assume you know or have been in touch with or have had a lot of dealings with, but I don't know.
Brian
Gary,
right.
who's and will give you all sorts of information. And then,
yes.
Okay, so you know he's a friend of our show, and
of course.
But also in terms of when you talk about Eddie Cantor. He's been basically pushed aside because a lot of his appearances on film, a lot of the songs that he did, he's in Schwarzeface. He's literally, boom, and his songs, what, and the eyes rolling like a black person wouldn't actually do, but he's made up like one. How do you skirt that issue, with a woke audience in the times that we're in?
That's an area and an element that doesn't even need to come into play here, because it's not a whole one-man show about Eddie Cantor. It's more
haven't you done one-person shows as Cantor before?
No.
You haven't? Okay.
No. I've done some spot songs here and there. And I did something many years ago. It was a little, I don't know, maybe a 15 or 20-minute presentation at the Jonas Salk School on Long Island. They were doing something because I had done a lot of work with the Long Island chapter of the March of Dimes. I had helped them with various shows. I had served as a master of ceremonies for many of their benefit events, and they were doing something to celebrate the combination, because the March of Dimes, of course, that name came from Eddie Cantor.
I did not remember that.
He gave them that name. Yeah. So I had done something, and the connection,
inflation, by the way,
FDR and polio, and all of these.
I made a joke there, and you just rolled right over it. Said, with inflation now, it's now the March of Dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Now continue, please. Yes.
So, but I just I'm going to really rewind now. In elementary school, there was a director who wanted to do some celebration and call it America 199. That was in 1976. You can do the math and figure out why they wanted to call it America 199. Yeah, exactly. Right. Okay. Right. And I don't remember, because I don't necessarily think I, as an elementary school boy, knew of Eddie Cantor unless somebody told me about Eddie Cantor. But I wound up doing in that show, If You Knew Susie.
I know, but that girl.
Right.
Yeah.
So for some reason, that stayed in here someplace. And I just always remember. And then when I started to, over the years, hear more about Eddie Cantor, read more about him. I mean, a humanitarian, a businessman, radio, film, television, Broadway, everything. I mean, he really was. I mean, in a way, he was a little bit like Danny Kaye in many ways.
I see that. Yes.
And Joel Grey was almost discovered on Eddie Cantor's Colgate Comedy Hour show. And in my Joel Grey show, we show the clip of Joel Grey, okay, who went back and forth between being called Joel K, as in Danny Kaye, and Joel Katz, because his father, of course, was the famous Mickey Katz.
Right.
Just again, all of this dovetailing where I just find all of these interesting things that connect, almost like, again, I'm supposed to be doing them.
But tomorrow at Lynbrook Library, people will see this. They'll see the clips of Joel Grey. Do you do it performing any of the songs from his?
I do about 14 or 15, 16 songs, something like that, while telling stories. And I really try to kind of do a bit of an overview. And again, people remember. I think Joel Gray was on people's minds perhaps within the last week because there was some publicity about his birthday, but there was publicity dealing with the fact that he attended this new revival.
Cabaret, yeah,
Yes, of
yeah.
Cabaret with Eddie Redmayne playing the Master of Ceremonies. So that's been interesting. So people do tend to look for that particular show. I won't be doing my Danny Kaye show again until the fall, and I'll be doing it out in East Hampton at the LTV Studios. So I'm excited about that. That's going to be
a quick question about the Danny Kaye show. Do you actually do like the not double talking, but the kind of really fast sort of things that he was known for? Where
you mean there's Malachevsky, Rubinstein, Arensky, and Tchaikovsky, Chepernikov, Terechyan, Karevchin, Krijanovsky, Godovsky, Artabuchev, Moniuszko, Wakimenko, etc. Yeah.
Yes, you do. Yes,
I do.
You know what the next show you should be then also doing is Sid Caesar.
Oh, yeah.
I could see you doing it.
Yeah.
And you can do the language thing, and you're he was on Broadway, and I think Little Me or something. Maybe Sid Caesar. That would be one that just.
There was. I used to see a glorious photo of Sid Caesar that was on one of the stairs in the Friars Club, and I would see this every day going up and down the stairs, and it's funny because I'm doing another show that again is not open to the public, which I'm not necessarily promoting per se, but I'm doing it at Meadowbrook Point in Westbury also in May, and it's called Bob's Broadway Mix. And it's me doing songs from Broadway shows from the 60s and 70s.
Oh, all right.
And these songs have a real meaning and interest to me. They're songs that I can perform and perform well. If it goes well, I will do a 80s and 90s version, which is kind of fun. So again, a lot of these things have been kind of coming to me, and I jump on them and run with them. Out of the blue, I got that call to do my P.T. Barnum one-man show, which I did many, many years ago, and that's going to be at the Bethpage Public Library.
So everybody can see that one. When is that?
July 29th.
Mark your calendars, ladies and gentlemen. So let's have the big three that are coming up in spring and summer. So you've got tomorrow at the Lynbrook Library, you have the Joel Gray show, Shades of Gray. What time is that?
1:30.
And people can get tickets just by dialing.
Yeah, they're not even taking reservations. I think you could just show up.
Oh, just show up at the Lynbrook Library and steal a bunch of books and sit around and be there for Joel Gray. That's tomorrow. When is the next? Is it the K? Not the K. It's the.
Well, probably. I mean, maybe the P.T. Barnum. I guess.
Well, when's the Montauk one? There's the one you mentioned.
Oh yes, the Verrazano. That's May 5th.
Maybe
right.
So that's very close. That's
at 3 p.m. May 5th, 3 p.m.
Library open to the public, and of course, if you want to go near Country Point Estates and go across the street, go on the rooftop with binoculars. And then you can watch, because you're not allowed in, but you can watch Bob Spiotto doing all the things that he does there, all the things he puts together, and all the shows that he does. So, Bob, my main question for you now is, I mean, you are indefatigable. I can see you doing the job you're doing for another 15, 20 years. Do you live on campus? I mean, do you live on the campus? Do you live?
No, I don't live there, no.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're literally a hired gun to go there and do all these.
Yeah, I'm there. Yeah, 5 days a week.
Yeah. You have a wife and kids and grandkids or anything like that?
Yes, I have a wife. That's her name, Rochelle. You see it right down there. There it is. Right.
Yeah, Rochelle. And
yes.
Do you have youngins, baby things?
I do have a son from a previous marriage. Yes.
Right. Okay. Is he in the entertainment, or did he run far away?
He is far away.
Well, you're still close, right? You're talking about him like, I'm sorry. Okay, no. He saw you performing Eddie Cantor, and
I really I just it's hard not to say so much of this comes from my father. May he rest in peace. My father was a salesman for many years. He had the gift of gab, the gift of comedy. He was a part-time musician. He used to take me on the gigs with him. He used to let me sit down and play the drums. When the band would take a break from playing, you know, a lot of requested music. The pianist would sit down and play, and then my father would sit down in the drums. And then as a kid, I would get up and I would just dance on the dance floor and entertain the people at whatever the event was. And here's the crazy part. The name of the band that my father had was called the Court Jesters.
Danny K reference and a very, yeah, it's good.
Right?
As you used the word, the Italian word bashert, you used it before.
I did.
There it is. Well, it has been bashert and lovely, and I am not jesting, but I'm saying in a courtly way, ding ding, that we have had a wonderful time with
Thank you.
Bob Spiotto. Is it Spiotto or Spiotto? How can you?
You said it. You said it better than some of the Italians. The first way, yes.
He's doing most of his stuff at Country Point, but obviously you can see him at all these other libraries. Can they go to a website and figure out where they can actually see you? You know, do you have a website of your own or anything?
I don't, but I always respond to anybody on Facebook that messages me, or yeah, I'm you know, very approachable. So,
everybody approach him and bribe him to get into the complex there, because that's the only way you can, unless someone drops dead. And you can poison them, but they're Jews. Their stomachs are already cast iron. It would take forever to actually poison these people. It's like, what you got, rat poison? That's nothing. I had cholent last night. I mean, it's just anyway. Ding, ding, ding. Bob Spiotto, it has been just delightful to have you in the Daverhood. I wish you fantastic health. I wish you fantastic shows and performances, and the joy that you bring, obviously, to everything.
Thank you.
Shalom to you.
And to you. Happy Passover too. Thank you.
Thank you, and happy whatever the hell. What's your next Italian thing? I don't even.
Not for a while yet.
Shalom. Have a great one. Oh, my friends, Bob Spiotto in the Daverhood on this Shabbos morning, April 20th, 2024. I am Rabbi Sal Solomon, the founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches. And if you want to find out more about me, I do have a website, shalomdammit.com. Shalom, D-A-M-M-I-T. Shalomdammit.com. This is where you can read and hear my rabbinical reflections. You can click and find all the interviews I've done on this program. Plus, you can even see, speaking of theater, the show that I did, Shalom Dammit, An Evening with Me, that was done off Broadway a few years back. We filmed it. It's beautiful. You have to watch it. So, my friends, I will be back on this episode to do a rabbinical reflection about Passover, which is happening in a day or two. So, don't go away. Stick around. There's more show for you. And more me for you. Oh, aren't you so incredibly lucky? Oh, yes, my friends, here on Dave's Gone By, live on this Saturday morning. Don't really need this for a moment. So, you're watching this program, as you have been, I hope, since we started back in October of 2002. Well, you weren't really, if you were watching then, it was really weird because we were just a radio show for the first 15 years or 16, 17 years of the program. And then we went to video. But boy, oh boy, all our archives are saved so that you can go to davesgoneby.com, honest to gosh, and find our first episode and our 21st and 121st and 721st episode. Literally, they're all there. They're archived. We lost one or two, and a couple of them have some sound issues, but mainly they sound good. The recent ones look really good. It's our show. So our whole history of the program, and Rabbi Sal kept name dropping in that interview with Bob Spiotto moments ago, and saying, well, we had Tova Feldshuh on the program. We had this person on the program. And well, of course we had Brian Gary on the show. Well, you know what? If you want to see and hear all of these interviews, all you got to do is go to davesgoneby.com. Type in, or you can browse and scan the hundreds of shows that we've done. Plus, we even have a separate archive alphabetically by last name of the interviewees, hundreds of them at this point. Some famous, some not, some in between. But if you're at all curious about these wonderful people, Marilyn May, that we've had on the show, then by all means go to davesgoneby.com. Our archives are also available at archive.org, archive.org. Now, this is a not-for-profit website. I don't get anything from it, alas, but we do have a channel there where the same archives that we have at davesgoneby.com reside there. So the main thing is if our site ever goes down, you can watch everything we've done at archive.org, or if they go down, we're still there at davesgoneby.com. We have a YouTube channel, Dave's Gone By. We also have our audio archives at castbox.fm. So if you are an on-the-go person and you just want the audio of all our programs, the archives are there as well at castbox.fm, specifically downloadable as podcasts. I mean, you can do that on all the other sites too, but this one is basically plug and play. I think that's all you kind of need to know, except that we do have a Twitter feed, which is Radio Dave 2. We have an Instagram page, david.lefkowitz. What else do you need to I think that about does it. And of course, the Facebook page that you're watching now. Anyway, I'm Dave Lefkowitz, and I thank you so much for joining us on this Saturday morning, April 20th, 2020. Someone noted on Facebook that just in case you're curious about this kind of thing, it is 04, wait, how does this work? 2024, right? When I gotta write this down, because apparently there's this palindromic thing that's going on. 420. Huh? I don't get it. Something's weird here. 4202022. Well, it worked when they did it on Facebook. It makes absolutely no sense to me either. So forget I even brought that up. But what I will bring up momentarily are my feet. Because ladies and gentlemen, one of the segments that we love to do on the program is Bunion Watch. Yes, my friends, I have on my feet, my left foot and my right foot, not my middle foot, but on my two of my feet, I have these bumps right by my big toe called bunions. And one of them was kind of getting rubbed on and irritated and even bleeding months ago on the day when I started teaching in new shoes. And so I share everything with my audience. I shared the condition of my bunions. And even though, thank goodness, they've been really dormant for all these months after that, I do like to show you and to keep you apprised of my foot condition. So ladies and gentlemen, I'll lower the desk here. Wow, it looks like I have boobs. Sure, it's really nice, but when it came down like that, I was like, hello, I'm a B cup. So I'm going to now measure and share and show you my bunions. Ladies and gentlemen, on this program, it's Bunion Watch. So I'm going to put them up on the desk. And I haven't thought of doing this. This might probably make it a lot easier. There. This is the right foot bunion on my big, yeah, that's kind of monstrous if you see it just on camera like that. And notice how it does give me borderline hammer toe. It kind of pulls my toe all the way in that direction. But as colorful as it is, see how red that thing is, and as large as it is, thank goodness, on the pain scale, 0. It's perfectly fine. My bunion doesn't hurt. It's in perfectly good shape. It's a fine, fabulous, and fantastic bunion. Now this is my left foot. My left foot is the one that had the irritation from the shoe. Since then, it's been just dandy, and it is significantly smaller than my other bunion. I would put up both bunions at the same time, but then I would fall off the desk and crack my head. So here you go. Here, I can turn it just a little bit to get it kind of, get the light out of it. Maybe this will be better. No, not really. Not really. Very pale. So you can see against the pillow the curvature, the beautiful kind of Mount Kilimanjaro bunion effect going on there. This is, of course, my left foot bunion. Oh, hon. It's Bunion watch time.
I scrubbed the bathroom floor, I cleaned the toilet, and I organized the sink.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Wow.
Let me see on your phone. I want
Do
to see.
you want to point to my bunion?
You guys had a long talk. Wow.
Yeah, that was.
What a
well,
good interview.
he was great. He was great.
What an interesting man.
And such a lively and fun. You know, he's a mushroom because he's a fun guy. But ladies and gentlemen, oh, I didn't even play the music. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't hear your song.
Yeah, this was the very important and beautiful Bunion watch for you guys here on Dave's Gone By.
She's Bunion, she really is a fun one, she's Bunion. Listen, doctor, to my plea, it's time for bunionectomy.
Oh, that's why I didn't go to this. Oh, they like the interview, or do you like Bunion watch?
Got to go, please get these bunions off my toes. My alcohol would always have my alcohol. Bunions, painful, painful.
Except they're not.
Bunions, painful, painful.
So, ladies and gentlemen, was wonderful to have a nice long interview with Bob Spiotto and Rabbi Saul Solomon. As he said, Rabbi Saul will be back with a rabbinical reflection for you in a little while. It's all about Passover and plus, the current events and things like that. So that'll be happening. And we also have Dave's Big Dick Sheneri, where I will be talking about the word gingerly. Gingerly. Great word. I'd love to say it. Haven't had really time to think about it. Plus, we'll have the Friends of the Daverhood and our Colorado Limerick of the
A lot
damned.
of people liked it, but I can't see who besides Praveen Kumar.
Oh, hello,
But
Praveen.
there's 4 other people. I just don't know how to get
Oh,
them.
that's fine. But thank you, all of you, for thumbing up and liking the interview. I know Bob promoted the interview and
Yeah.
went to his friends and stuff.
Very nice.
He was great. He was just great. Hey, speaking of popular music and performance and concerts and things like that, what do you think about the 100th birthday celebration, installation, if you will, at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame
Yeah.
for Henry Mancini?
It's not my cup of tea. Right?
Well, Pink Panther theme, right? Baby Elephant Walk.
I mean, it's like when Bob Dylan won the Nobel Prize, right? Everyone chimes in.
It's sort of like Bob Dylan deserved a million
Yeah.
awards, but
Like,
there's
is it
no
the
doubt.
right fit? I don't know. I don't know the selection committee. It must have been something.
Because, how do you define it at a certain point? How do you define rock and roll? A couple of people on Facebook were absolutely right. They're saying, why not just rename it the Popular Music Hall of Fame? And then Henry Mancini would absolutely
that would
fit.
make sense, yeah.
But he did the Peter Gunn theme, and that bridges into rock and roll. I could probably load them. No, I can't load them up on this machine. I shouldn't do that. But I don't know. He at a certain point, how do you start defining rock and roll? Because obviously blues artists are tremendously important, but they weren't doing rock and roll yet. So they were influential. Do they belong in the Hall of Fame? I assume they're there.
You're having a conversation with someone who's a chatbot, and the person said, "Who told you I was a chatbot?" And I said, "Should say ChatGPT." AI.
Yeah, go ahead. Right back to that.
I do not understand your response. Please try again.
Oh, that's something cute. I get these things on Facebook from usually Asian women who are in their early 20s, good looking and relatively large titted for Asian women, which is their A- cup. But point is, and they suddenly want to be, and they seem to have very legitimate Facebook websites where they're going to different places and having different meals and trying to be influencers. But at the same time, how the hell are they finding me? And by the way, a zillion people like me, so that's how we know these are fake. And what is the point? Why are they want to be friends on Facebook and maybe they want to eventually sell me crypto down the road. I don't get it. They go through all this time and trouble to create real looking, real seeming Facebook pages. Okay. So, and then showing, sometimes they're in outfits, so maybe they're really trying to be influencers, or other times it's just like,
fake. It's
yeah,
all,
but
fishing.
why? Fishing for what?
I don't know.
I don't know why they put in the time when they're not going to get
It's probably not even, it's not these women, it's probably some,
like a Nigerian guy in a cellar.
Yeah, it's somebody doing something.
But what ultimately, what does he figure that one
Maybe
out of
they
hungry
think
people?
that or maybe if they, engage enough that they'll.
Well, they'll get my email address and therefore be able to tap in and get to my passwords, and then
Or maybe they just want you to send them stuff,
maybe I don't know. But it happens every week. Every time I post now, there's somebody who is presumably non-legit.
Yeah.
And so one wrote to me, as Joyce said, and said, "Hey, you keep coming up on my friends list, and how many?" It's like, well, maybe because you're an AI chatbot.
And then you put.
And then she said, "What makes you think I'm a robot?"
And then I wrote back, I do not understand your response. Please try again later.
Please try again, yeah. And you said, "Marque el ocho."
I should go beep, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, beep, boop, beep, boop.
But it was a weird week for popular music and rock and roll music. So we've got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame honoring Henry Mancini, which is not a problem, really.
What does he say about it? Normally they give some kind of,
Well, he's
like a,
moving 100. He's dead.
oh yeah.
He's died.
Well, what about his people? Like, do they give a,
I'm sure they love it. I'm sure
like a PR statement? Like, they probably say something.
like the estate
Yeah,
of
I'll
Henry
look it up.
Mancini.
What
Yeah, please.
Henry Mancini nomination. Oh, it's in all of them. What's the name of the award again? I just
Well,
lost it.
it's not gonna. They're going to do an installation for his 100th. Would have been his 100th birthday. A Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Henry Mancini Rock and Roll Hall of Fame installation.
Features Mancini's Grammy for Album of the Year, a bomber jacket with embroidered "Hey" from the Pink Panther tour, a handwritten score of Peter Gunn, and more.
So-
TCM will honor Mancini's birthday Tuesday with a lineup of programs.
There's a
dedicated
Facebook.
to
Let's see what they say.
Yeah,
It seems like, and they also have something in Cleveland.
which is where the Hall of Fame is.
Yeah, they have they're doing all sorts of.
All right. I mean, again, Peter Gunn, I can kind of see that was rock and roll.
It says to learn more, check out honoring cinematic composers. So that's how they're framing it.
Well, that's okay. Is Bernard Herrmann being honored too? Because he didn't really bridge that gap.
So people are talking in the Hall of Fame, chair chatter.
Yeah.
And they're saying, yeah, I met him, what about, someone said, what about Joan Cocker and Warren Zett?
Joe Cocker and Warren Zevon?
Yeah.
They didn't score films.
And then someone, well, just for a Hall of Fame,
Oh,
someone
yeah.
said, well, induct him. The Hall of Fame isn't about rock anymore.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah, and they said he did this theme show, that 70s show. So they're just, I'm going to do
Even so,
newest.
yeah. Anything?
And this one said, duh, not rock, duh.
Duh. Popular music. Okay,
Yeah.
change the name. I get it. But it has been an odd week in terms of rock and roll. First of all, we lost Dickie Betts, a band that I never liked called the Allman Brothers. Never really got into them, but some of the guitar work was pretty great. And there's a great early song from Greg Allman called Melissa, which is wonderful. But all their other stuff I was never into it. But Dickie Betts was quite a guitarist, and it's kind of a loss for the band and for rock music in general. And then the biggest loss of all, in a manner of speaking, happened to Billy Joel. Did you hear about this?
That he lost music or something? They cut him off or what?
Yeah, he was on CBS. They were broadcasting like his
Yeah.
100th concert at Madison Square
And
Garden.
they cut him off?
And you know how they used to do with the Tonys and things, or if it went past 11 o'clock, or the Tonys are a good way.
Yeah,
They've been really
they
good.
wound it up. They
Yeah.
wound it up. Yeah.
Yeah, but with Billy Joel, they in the middle of Piano Man. It's like they took away the last set of keys on the piano, and they stopped him in the middle, and CBS is like, and they'll rebroadcast the concert. But it was live. I mean, this was a thing. Yeah. I mean, they'll show the whole thing, but the immediate.
Oh, someone said today's a palindrome, 4/20/2024.
I still don't get that. 420 0420 2024 420. Now I get it.
4202024. It's back and forth.
Yeah, I tried to do that
Do you want me to
just one
show you?
before. No, I just wrote it down. I see it.
Do you see it? Okay.
Yeah. 42. But no, but with Billy Joel, the first thing that people thought of, it's like the mistakes. If you don't learn from the mistakes the first time, they really do.
Yeah.
Those who do not learn their history are condemned to repeat it. So somebody didn't remember the Heidi Bowl. Somebody, I was actually alive for this. I didn't remember it because I was like 5.
Remember when we saw Peter Pan live? That was a little ouchie.
No, but the Heidi Bowl was the thing. It was
Heidi Bowl?
the Heidi
Oh,
Bowl.
Heidi.
Like Heidi, like Joanna
like,
Spyri's, yeah. So, and my dad, I'm sorry, my dad's not listening because he would have loved, he was watching.
He likes the Heidi Bowl.
Well, the Heidi Bowl was a big year. It was. Remember the year the New York Jets won the Super Bowl?
I wasn't alive then, was I?
You just barely. It would have been. You're June. You were born in June.
I would have been in my incubator hanging tight.
Yeah, no, you weren't born yet, but I think you were conceived.
Oh wait, hold on, you're talking.
So, what happened was this was a big year for the New York. There I am for the New York Jets, and the Jets in this rare moment they were a good team and they were in the hunt for the Super Bowl, for the playoffs and the Super Bowl. And so they were playing, I think it was the Oakland Raiders.
Oh boy, is that a good team or bad team?
They were also very good. So it was.
Did you mention the word of today?
Gingerly.
Did you say it?
No, I haven't done it.
Will it apply here maybe? Was anybody playing ginger?
Yeah, well, you know what? I can probably work that in to the story. Thank you. Yeah. So the Jets are playing the Raiders, and they both have just about equal records. So it's going to be a good game, a tight game, and everybody's watching. And also, the Jets are really in the so every New Yorker who cares about football is watching this game, and the Jets are leading by 2 touchdowns, going fairly late into the game, right? On the year that they will end up winning the Super Bowl. So boy, oh boy, big game, but it's also a game that's going long.
Did you show your bunions? No.
I did do my bunions. Okay. The game is going long, and the local affiliate, I think it was Channel 5, whatever it was.
I'm gonna put your socks on so your feet don't get cold.
Thank you, dear. The local affiliate had scheduled at 4 o'clock, I guess it must have been, the movie Heidi, the children's family film Heidi.
That's a good film.
Have you ever seen the Heidi film? No, I haven't even read I should read the book, even though it'll probably be as disappointing as Swiss Family Robinson, which is terrible. But so I never read Heidi, but people and it was a family movie, 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Were waiting for that? Like, I don't
Well, people at Channel 5 must have assumed because they cut away from the Jet game late in the game.
Were they winning? Yeah, they were winning.
They were winning by 2 touchdowns. It was a game that New York Jets were really enjoying.
Oh boy!
And then suddenly there's this little girl climbing a mountain. Everybody thought, was this a commercial?
Yeah,
What the hell? People and then suddenly they almost broke the switchboard of phone calls.
Was there outrage? Did people?
Yes, people were going apeshit.
I'm sure sports bars were ransacked.
Because what happened was also most football games now every football game is 3.5 hours long. It's insane.
They're also taped now. You can see them more. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you also have the option of what. But back then it was live. You watched it live, and usually they ran about 2 hours and 40 minutes total.
Geez.
This one ran past the 3-hour mark.
Yeah.
What happened was they showed Heidi, and people were either just running to their radios or calling the switchboard and saying, "What is wrong?
Yes.
Where's the game?
Yes.
I just invested 3 hours into this game and you're cutting it off now." And what happened was, actually, it just probably should have felt lucky they missed it because Oakland ended up winning, getting 2 touchdowns and winning the game. But all the sports fans missed it.
Well, that's
in New York.
better. It's probably better. Well,
Yeah, they missed the heartbreak of the Jets.
They could take their anger out on they could take their anger out on the network rather than the team.
Well, they did. They did.
Wow.
And so it became a rule. They called it the Heidi Bowl because it was a big important game. It was a close game, a game that actually flipped
David,
the score.
We have to break in and cut off to something different.
I know. And television kind of at that point changed the rule. And television said, when there's a game, we show till the end of the if there's a movie, the movie was from 1952 or something like that. We don't have to show it.
Yeah, that's important, but so sometimes even people get mad when they get preempted by political stuff. So I can imagine a bunch, especially if people are betting on that game.
Oh, well, back then, yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
come on, people
yeah.
bet since day one.
And the thing was, that's why all these years later, for people who waited for
Yeah.
like 60 Minutes on CBS
Oh, yeah,
on Sunday
yeah,
nights,
yeah.
if there was golf or there's a sports thing before, like the
We're talking
Masters.
real sports.
But 60 Minutes might get pushed till 7:45
Yeah, no, you're right.
because
You're right.
the sport is the sport.
But
It
this
goes
is
to
what
the
I
end.
don't get.
Yeah.
Like, how did all these? Did they look in phone books? They didn't have cell phones years ago. How would you know to call your local state TV station?
Well, if you were in New York,
Yeah.
CBS TV was probably listed in the white pages.
Okay.
Or the yellow pages too. You
Yeah.
just look up CBS television, or you say operator.
Oh yeah.
they had operators
yeah,
back.
Yeah.
Well,
Give me the. Yeah.
and boy, search for literally just went ballistic, and they got all sorts of letters and hate mail, and it changed the paradigm.
Wow.
So when CBS cut off Billy Joel,
it was a Heidi.
it was a Heidi Bowl thing.
Heidi Bowl.
And the Heidi Bowl.
So what happened? What was the outcome?
Well, CBS has promised to re-show the concert in its entirety, and not just on Paramount Plus. I imagine on its free service. And Billy Joel, made a statement. He said he can't believe CBS did that. Because he was in the middle of Piano Man.
Welcome to corporate.
And by the way, Piano Man is a song I never need to hear again.
Me too.
It's a great song. I've heard it since time.
But it's his mantra, right? Like he's the piano man.
He is the piano. It's probably an encore.
I don't need to hear that good ship Alexa and all that. He's not a seafaring man. I mean, maybe he went on a ferry to go to Staten Island, but I don't think he's like out there.
Yeah, he's not going to down
He's
Easter.
not like a deep, I'm sorry.
He's probably felt pressure. He's been divorced like 3 or 4 times, so he's felt pressure.
Yeah.
But and he's been in a few Italian restaurants. We can tell that from the way he does that.
But I think like a lot of his stuff is like he shouldn't. You can't be so. Who? I mean, they probably would preempt the president. I mean, they cut anybody off.
You just don't do it. You
never leave an intern asleep at the wheel. In charge of the stuff. There's probably some poor kid who
Maybe.
They told him flip the switch and then he did, and now it's like.
Heads I'm sure rolled.
Do you think somebody got fired because of it?
Oh hell yeah.
Oh really?
Well, because how do you make that sudden decision to I mean, I know there's advertisers waiting for their stuff, but it's event television. You follow the event. The Oscars, if they go 4.5 hours, but I think that also, like, because of the Heidi Bowl, they don't cut off the Oscars and the Tonys.
No.
They rush them to get off,
but they don't cut them off.
And actually,
did you drink your tea?
I had some of it.
Okay,
It's still here. But I think also the Tonys are hyper vigilant because they're theater people. They realize, hey, CBS we have a nice deal. CBS has carried us for so many years.
The music, they rap the speeches.
I don't think the Oscars worry about it. I think the Oscars are more like, hey, we'll go till we go, and CBS.
They're TV. Yeah. They're TV, so it's their
and
thing.
Movies, but the theater people are like, hey, we have our 3 hours, and it's not fair. We'll wrap it up,
But they also do a lot of awards ahead of time, so they accommodate,
Which is unfortunate because in my I Love Theater years, I would have sat there for 6 hours watching.
You still will. This time you don't do it at the Lucille Lortel whatever theater. You do it at home in your jammies, eat a sandwich.
Definitely. Well, I never went to a Tony ceremony.
No, but we did it live when it was the live feed and all that.
That was
used
awful.
to do it. I know.
It was terrible.
But now it's much nicer. You get to chillax a bit.
Yeah, I guess there's not. I don't even. But the thing is, I don't see. We haven't really checked on our thing. I think you have to go on Paramount Plus to get the Tonys. So I just get the tweets of who's winning or whatever.
We could go to a party or do something, whatever you want, honey.
Let's go to a biker bar. Is it? Can you turn the channel? We want to see the Tonys live. And someone kicked the shit out of me.
No.
Like, hey, Jew boy, here's some theater for you.
People are very, people understand.
Yeah.
It's a big event.
Anyway, it is 11:30 in the morning Eastern time here in the Daverhood with me and my wonderful wife Joyce. So you know what? I want to think about what I want to do for Dave's Big Dick scenario. I've got the word gingerly to talk about, and I think the CBS should have treated the Billy Joel concert gingerly.
Well, they should have just. Maybe they had some kind of AI bot that just flipped it over. It might have been not a person. It might have been a set up thing. It might have been a.
Yeah, well, you can, a lighting designer in a Broadway show can go manual and unset what's preset, but
Yeah, but still.
they should have. They should have. I mean, come on now. This is a bad boo-boo. But it's not a boo-boo that Rabbi Saul Solomon is coming back. You just saw him with Bob Spiotto doing that wonderful interview. Now we have more Rabbi Saul just in time for the Passover holiday. So Saul does these things called Rabbinical reflections. These are his mini sermons about life in general, about Judaism, about the times, about the news, all sorts of whatever he feels like talking about, because he's the one, the only Rabbi Saul. So he's got some Passover stuff to remind us about this holiday that's going to be starting in a couple of days. Plus, being Saul and being the times that we're in, he has some things to say about what's been going on in poetic fashion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, because it should be here somewhere. Oh, I can't. I don't. Okay, fine. I want to lower this. I just want to. Where do I want to do this? Here it is. Let me open that up. Oh, it's about 8 minutes long in total. So I'm going to show it. There we go. He pre-recorded this, in case you weren't wondering. Oh, all right, so I'll go. I've got time to go up on the stairs and use the other bathroom.
Okay.
Which, or if you know what, if the bathroom floor is already wet, what does it matter if I pee on it? Right? Anyway, here is the one, the only, the founder of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. Let me share. Where's my share? Here it is. Share. I'm hoping this works. There it is. I'm up there in the screen, and now we have. I am screen sharing. Okay, good. Here is the one, the only, the Jewish Rabbi Saul Solomon with his 183rd Rabbinical reflection, all about Passover 2024. Shalom, damn it! This is Rabbi Saul Solomon with a rabbinical reflection for the 2024 Passover holiday. Yes, my friends, it's matzah time again. Time to change the silverware, cover your tables, sell your leavened food, and then buy it back again when it's stale. Time to welcome a holiday that throws your life into chaos just for a big meal that's supposed to be about order. That's the Seder. Seder means order, structure in Hebrew. So, at the Seder, we do one activity after another in order for 2 hours before we finally get to eat. Then we dine on wonderful things like horseradish and boiled eggs and flat bread that uses cardboard as its flavor profile. Constipated. But we do this, of course, to commemorate a miracle. Our Jewish ancestors, who spent decades as slaves to the pharaohs, hightailed it out of Egypt, thanks to Moses, his brother Aaron, and a God that actually talked to people back then, or at least to Moses. They had that kind of relationship. And so, 3,500 years ago, the Jews left Eretz Mitzrayim, crossed the Red Sea, which slowly parted for them like the legs of an arthritic hooker, and wandered the desert for 40 years till all of them were dead. But their children made it to Israel, and that's where the Jews have stayed until this very day. And current events notwithstanding, they ain't going anywhere. For decades now, I've ranted and raved and driven home one idea that even a pinhead like Susan Sarandon should understand. Israel is for Jews. Arabs can live anywhere else. Why don't they? If all these Muslim countries refuse to make a home for their Palestinian brothers, well, that's just too bad. There's no reason the Pallies can't have a couple dozen square miles of Saudi Arabia, Sudan, Angola, Algeria, Mali, Pakistan, Turkmenistan, or Dearborn, Michigan. Palestinians want a country so bad, give them one far away. Suck them out of Gaza and the West Bank so Israelis can be free and safe, surrounded by a dozen countries that despise them. Yet, for all this horrible news and the burgeoning anti-Semitism, we can muster a smile or two this Pesach holiday. On Thursday, the president of Columbia University, an Arab no less, looked at the swarm of hippie hooligans disobeying orders to vacate the college lawns and said, "Finally, if you don't leave, I'm calling the cops." They stayed, in came the riot squad, and more than 100 imbeciles were arrested and suspended, not for being anti-Israel, that's a given for these smelly hermaphrodites, but for trespassing on private property and assuming that their bleeding heart wokeness would be an impermeable escutcheon. Understand that they were nonviolent, and so were the cops. Everybody got what they came for. President Shafik got her lawn back for a day. The cops made their quota without a single speeding ticket, and the brats got on TV crying and laughing and showing every employer in America who not to hire at the next job fair. On top of this heartening development of cracking down on crackpots, there's more amazing news. A week ago, Iran sent hundreds of missiles streaming into Israel. I think one of them hit. All the rest were intercepted and bombed out of the sky by the vaunted Iron Dome. Where that dome was on October 7th is another story, but at least this time it worked like gangbusters, or bombbusters. And after that, Israel hit back with a bunch of mini drones that were mini enough to do minimal damage, but scary enough to make the Tehran tyrants think twice about escalation. So, in these anxious and ugly times, when Jews face hatred from stupid goyim and Israel faces hatred from stupid Jews, we can be thankful for some godly interventions that are at least trying to restore order, seder. And for those who still equate Zionism with oppressive colonialism as opposed to my house, my rules, here's some poetic justice. From the river to the sea, Hamas had better flee, because way back in 48, the world made Israel a Jewish state. The Arabs are welcome to work and play, but if you hurt us, we will slay. We'll bomb the tunnels Hamas built and turn their houses into silt. If you prick us, we will bleed, but then we'll get you, guaranteed. If you're a young and left-wing loony spewing your shit at the Ivies and Sunni, not realizing Al-Qaeda, Al-Aqsa, Hamas are all the same evil, with all the same boss, please know that these monsters who caused 9/11 are back as the same butchers of October 7th. Yet, millions of Arabs select them as leaders and pledge their allegiance to these bottom feeders, who've vowed to push Israel straight off the map, which is why we must blot them like wiping up crap. If they think they'll win and cause Israel to vanish, joder a sus madres! Look it up in Spanish. Israel will fight to the very last Jew, and make no mistake, they're fighting for you. Because if Muslims win, new maps they will draw that put the whole world under Sharia law. So Israel will struggle as lies leave her friendless, and Israel will fight, though the fighting is endless. And Israel will win, because Israel must, and grind our foes into cockroach dust. From Haifa to Tiberias, IDF is dead serious. From Kiryat Shmona all the way to Eilat, the Arabs can lick Golda Meir's hairy gray twat. from the sea to the river, will make Hamas quiver, and for year after year, Israel stays here. This has been a rabbinical reflection from Rabbi Sal Solomon, Temple Sons of Bitches, in Great Neck, New York. Happy Pesach Seder to you. From border to border, we will restore order. So the views of Rabbi Sal Solomon do not necessarily represent the views of this program, but they do, trust me. So, yeah, Rabbi Sal there. Again, for more about him, go to his website, shalomdammit.com. Shalom, D-A-M-M-I-T, shalomdammit.com. And by the way, he has his own Twitter feed, which is at Rabbi Sal Solomon, at Rabbi Sal Solomon. So you don't want to miss that as well. Anyway, it's about 20 minutes to noon Eastern time here in the Daverhood on Dave's Gone By with me, Dave Lefkowitz, and I have been tasked with the delightful assignment, if you will, of Dave's Big Dictionary. And what that is we started this a few years ago, and we do it every once in a while. It has to do with Joyce picking a word at random. And then my job is to just, whatever that word is, just talk about it, whatever comes to my head extemporaneously. And the word today is gingerly. Extra, tell all about it. It's Dave's Big Dictionary. So the word of the day, as we just said, is gingerly. I'm going to look it up because this was the official Merriam-Webster's word of the day. If you go on their Facebook or feeds, this is the way they promote themselves, and it is gingerly, which means it's an adjective very cautiously or very cautious or careful. And it's also an adverb. Wait, how can it be an adjective? Modifies a noun? How can it modify a noun? Now an adverb I get. Okay, he walked gingerly. He held the package gingerly. You don't have a gingerly. He walked with a gingerly step. Okay, fair enough. Okay. Anyway, I need to work. I'm an English professor. I need to work that one out. Well, I didn't realize gingerly could be an adjective as well as an adverb, but it can. So there you go. And it means to behave cautiously, to walk cautiously, or to do anything carefully, cautiously for fear of breaking something or for fear of hurting yourself. So,
Be careful.
it's, the chickens are flying. The chickens are here. Yay! More chickens. I've got to handle them gingerly because so.
You want to give them their tetanus shot? Time for pigeon.
Yeah, let's do it. Tetanus time.
Gingerly give
Oh
them.
shoot! No. All right, everything's.
Drop the plunger.
I should have held that more gingerly because it fell
Give them
apart.
the bottle. Maybe they need the chicken bottle.
There we go. Okay, I'll hold this gingerly. So I was thinking of this because I hurt my shoulder and my arm a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you remember that? I could my whole right side.
That was
Yeah.
bad. Yeah, you really did. We had to put a lot of attention in there.
Right. So I was using heat and ice and whatever else to make it feel better. It was like this twinge. It was this acute thing, and it reminds you because the rest of the time, you live in your body, and unless you're a weightlifter or a dancer or something, you don't really think about it. If you're healthy and you're moving okay, you know what your little body's tweaks are and where you have more range of motion and don't. But if you feel well, you're just in your body. But anytime something goes a little poo-poo off, then, you realize you gotta move gingerly. And it reminded me also of like the time, very specific, when I was getting over my hernia surgery. And there's this moment, man, when you're waking up and you get out of bed, first thing you're doing in the day. And I don't know if you've experienced this after surgery or something like that.
I wonder if you plug this in with this work as just a megaphone without a voice changer?
I have no idea.
Do you want to try it or no?
Well, after the segment,
Oh.
yeah. So, but what would happen was I would get up and start walking to the bathroom, which was good. It meant I wasn't peeing in bed. I could go to the bathroom. So, and my body would go through this moment where it just shivered all over. And I literally had this image of my internal organs kind of getting into, like locking into place because they were all jumbled. There have been surgeons in there carving and putting and cutting and screwing, whatever they're doing. I'm putting mesh.
Just talking to this.
And so I wake up, just as a little
Your microphone.
mega. Oh, it's not really going to work. It's not going to work. So I had this feeling that my whole body was figuring out where everything was again. Like things got moved around during laparoscopic surgery.
Like, where's my spleen?
Yeah, like the spleen, like went up to my tit or something like that, and the liver went here, and
It was because you were filled with air.
Oh,
So what
but this
happened was-
days after. This
Yeah,
is like
but you
weeks.
still had a lot of air in you for a long time.
But I would get up and I'd take a few steps, and I'm going to try to show this. I would take a few steps, and then I'd sort of stop, and I literally, my body would sort of shake and kind of reset, and I would feel like the organs kind of going, okay, I'm a liver, I'm a kidney, I'm a heart, I'm a lung, I'm a this, I'm a that, and we're all kind of working together again, as opposed to like these separate connect the dots entities in your body. And I still moved pretty gingerly, after that happened, but it was that moment when my body was like, okay, reset, boom, start your day.
You moved gingerly when you made poo-poo too.
Well, yeah. But then it happened a little bit when I was sick or whatever I had that time. I wasn't sick,
Herpes.
but remember 2 weeks ago I had some, I was pale and I was in pain.
That was your
That was the arm thing, yeah. And one morning I had a little bit of that moment again, that post-surgical,
Really?
like my body going, okay, you're good.
Dancing?
Okay.
Maybe you felt the earthquake.
Oh, I felt the earth move under my feet. I felt the stars come tumbling
Yes,
down.
I think that's what it was.
I felt my intestine come tumbling down, actually.
Oh, God.
No, and this
I
one was
actually
my arm.
watched
Yeah.
on Twitter.
Yeah.
Somebody live streamed a hernia surgery with a perforated bowel. It was good to watch.
Was it fun?
It was interesting.
Oh, thank you for not calling me to see that.
But you were doing your show.
Did they show the cutting or just about
No,
the surgery?
you see, actually, you're not seeing the person's body. You're seeing it's a basically bloody stump, which is the hernia. Another bloody stump, which is the intestine, and they're doing stuff with those little pincers.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, so you're already... See, that's the thing. I don't mind inside the body so much the actual surgery. It's the cutting open of the skin to get...
Yeah, oh, no, they
Into- I
were
can't watch
They were
that.
showing you doing
Yeah.
the deep dive.
No, that's not... I don't know why.
Now 7 people liked it, but we can't see.
It's almost like when they're putting a spoon into stew. Once the
It
body's
is
already
like
open.
that, no
Yeah.
joke.
But it's that differentiation between, hey, a closed human body with skin on it, or a wide open human body with all the organs and liquids and stuff around. It's that in between step. But gingerly. So I know what it is to move gingerly when you're not, feeling well or something's not moving. And even now,
Protecting
this
yourself.
arm can go all the way here. This arm stops right about here. So I've lost certainly because of the shoulder and because of whatever else. I'm sure I could do a little bit of physical therapy and push this just a little more, but it's weird. And I don't know if I force this arm to go more, is it going to be a good thing to stretch, or am I just actually going to hurt myself?
Yeah.
So old Dave is like, I'm not going to
Well,
hurt myself.
sometimes the trainer will say, like, don't go back that far, don't put that there, because you think you're all, going for the gusto, and you realize that you're hurting yourself worse.
Well, it's the old Smith and Dale thing. Doctor, it hurts when I do this.
Yeah.
What should I do? Don't do that. That's the classic
Yeah.
sort of thing. So we approach certain things gingerly but thank goodness I feel fine. But who knows? You never know. You never know what's gonna force you to suddenly be
This is how you
gingerly.
see the likes. You do it different on the phone.
Aha. So who's giving us likes then?
You got Bonnie. You got Stephanie Salzman. You got a lot of people.
Yay! Well, thank you for the likes and the
600
thumbs up.
People. It brought me right back. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
These are, I found them finally. It's Bonnie, Iris, Tony, Jeff, Parveen, Michael, and a bunch of other folks commenting that I'm liking.
Oh, excellent. Well, cool. Well, cool. And thank you for the likes. And thank you for being with us on Dave's Big Dictionary. Okay, let's play for stop it. No, that comes later. That'll be the Limerick, which is coming up in just a few minutes. So, in fact, let me set that up because we still have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned to do, and we're going to go to Aberdeen, Colorado. But before then, let's pay attention and let's pay homage to the wonderful folks who have been on this program in months and years past. Like we have a new friend of the Daverhood today, Bob Spiotto, who is the entertainment director and also a performer at Country Estates it's Country Point Estates over in Plainview. But also he will be tomorrow at the Limerick Public Library doing his show Shades of Grey as Joel, or doing what?
Oh, it's an impersonation.
He's an impersonator. He's doing the life of Joel Grey with a couple of film clips and also singing about a dozen of the songs that Joel Grey made famous in shows such as George M. and Wicked and in, of course, Cabaret. So, and what was that Jerry Herman show, Jakubowski and the Colonel, the Grand Tour.
Wow.
Basically giving an overview of Joel Grey's life. See that at Limerick Public Library, and then I think May 4th or May 5th, he's going to be at the Montauk Public Library with an entirely different show. Check it out. It's Bob Spiotto, Spiotto. He doesn't have a website, but he does have a Facebook page, so that's the real best way to keep tabs on what he's up to and what you can see him performing in or directing. So we thank him and we welcome him into the Daverhood as a new friend. Rabbi Sal Solomon, of course, also a very, very old friend of ours. He was on our very first episode. So keep tabs on him at shalomdammit.com. But there are other folks who've been on this program over the years, our friends of the Daverhood, and we want to tell you what they're up to, and this is how we do it. So, got a few things to tell you about our friends. Got to put my glasses on for this. So, first of all, thank you. I mentioned this earlier. Thank you to John Suzuki. His Finding Better podcast had me as a guest. We pre-taped it yesterday. It's going to be on in a week or 2 or 3. So look for John Suzuki, Finding Better. I'll also let you know when it airs. And I will also try to air this at some point on Dave's Gone By. He's given me permission to do that. And it was just a lovely conversation. So thank you to John. Congratulations! The MAC Awards were done this week. The Manhattan Association of Cabarets and Clubs, MAC, they're all about nightclubs and cabarets and giving awards to the performers and directors who are making great cabaret shows in Manhattan. So some of our friends of the Daverhood are, of course, nominees and winners in the MACs this year. And here's some winners. Eric Comstock. We mention him every week because he sings with his wife, Barbara Fasano, at Birdland. Well, Eric Comstock won for Major Artist, so yay. Ann Hampton Calloway with her sister Liz Calloway, they won for Major Duo, so yay for AHC, AHC. The review Forbidden Sondheim, Merrily We Stole a Song, which was created by our friend by Gerard Alessandrini. That won the MAC Award for Best Review. And Jeff Harner, he got a couple of awards, one for director, and he did a major recording for his CD, A Collective Sigh, the songs of Cy Coleman. So congratulations to all these MAC winners, Eric Comstock, Ann Hampton Calloway, Gerard Alessandrini, and Jeff Harner, all of them friends of the Daverhood. We're very proud and happy for you. At the same time, and by the same token, we have to send our condolences to singer and actress Quinn Lemley, who lost her mom last Friday. So, condolences, and they went to Shiva. What did they do, a wake? I guess she would be Irish.
It all depends. Like, traditionally, the Irish wake is with, a whole kind of, you have acoustic musicians, you have dancing, you have memories, but I don't know what people,
I
some
agree.
people don't do anything.
Well, or she mourns, whatever it is. So our sadness goes out to her. Want to let you know that Jorma Kaukonen of Jefferson Airplane and Hot Tuna fame has collaborated on a new album with John Hurlbut, and it's called One More Lifetime. It drops today. You can get it at Fur Peace Ranch Records. Fur like fur, peace like peace, ranch as in dressing, records. Jorma Kaukonen. And want to let you know that speaking of records and stuff, Gary Lucas, he collaborated rather famously with Jeff Buckley many years ago, and a CD or a collection of songs called Songs to No One is being released on double vinyl by Knitting Factory Records. That comes out today as well. And then the brilliant, wonderful songwriter Robin Hitchcock, he is going to be, oh my God, can we go? He's at the Avalon Theater in Easton, Maryland tonight. I was happy enough to see Robin Hitchcock in concert many years ago. Would love to see him again. So, he's a brilliant songwriter and one of the best guests we've ever had.
Neil Young is going to be in Barstool Stadium in Crazy Horse.
When?
May, I think.
When in May?
I'll look.
Because that was one of the best concerts I've ever seen was Neil Young and Crazy Horse.
But a great, yeah. Well,
Anyway, let's see. Neil Young has not been on this program. I wish it were, but Robin Hitchcock had.
why not?
I know, right? I even tried to get a Crazy Horse on the program, but it knocked through our garage and made a bit of a mess. TJ and Dave, they're back in town.
May 14th and May 15th.
Oh,
It looks like May 14th and 15th.
if we hit New York, man, if there's tickets still available. It's friggin' Neil Young and Crazy Horse, man. Anyway, TJ and Dave, they do long form improv, kind of comic, but not always. They take an idea, they start it, and then for more than an hour, they develop a whole kind of improv play about it. They've been doing this for many, many years. They're out of Chicago, and they come to New York a couple of times a year. Yeah.
You can get Neil Young tickets through AARP.com.
Right? Well, yeah. He's a cranky old man.
That's funny.
But if you want to see TJ and Dave this weekend, playing today, tomorrow, and then into, I guess, Monday and Tuesday, they are at the Soho Playhouse on Van Dam Street in Manhattan. Judy Collins, she will be getting a tribute from the New York Society for Ethical Culture. That is tomorrow in New York. And also, as part of that, this special event they're having at the Society for Ethical Culture, they're going to have a reading of something called Unlucky Gal, a play, and Michael Citriniti is in that. You might remember Michael, he was on here about 2 or 3 years ago with his wife Louise Lasser. So kind of cool to have him back doing stuff. On Monday the 22nd, Becca Kidwell will be singing and performing at Don't Tell Mama on West 46th Street. And that same night, Alice Ripley is going to be at Birdland, Tony winner for the Broadway show Next to Normal. And it was great to have her on the show a few years back. Edward Einhorn co-wrote and directs the Passover-based musical Exegog at La Mama, and that is starting on the 26th and running through mid-May. And we mentioned, speaking of May, we mentioned Marilyn May when Bob Spiotto was here earlier. Well, she's at 54 Below, now through May 6th. Go see her. And Jill Eikenberry, you can see her in the play The Two-Hander, being done at New Jersey Repertory Theater. That's playing now through May 12th. What else? A lot of stuff going on. Gabriel Barry is directing the off-Broadway musical A Sign of the Times at New World Stages, now through early June. And then, as ever, still going on. Lilius White is in Hadestown at the Walter Kerr Theater. Alan Menken, he did the music for Aladdin at the New Amsterdam Theater. He also did the music for Little Shop of Horrors, being revived at the West Side Theater. Seth Bissenhirsch does Seth's Talent Showcase on Tuesday evenings at Don't Tell Mama. K.T. Sullivan is at the Algonquin on Tuesday evenings. We mentioned Eric Comstock, congratulations. He and Barbara Fasano are at Birdland on Tuesday evenings. Vince Giordano and the Nighthawks, Bob Spiotto mentioned them. Well, they are performing Monday nights, 2 gigs at Birdland. And of course, Jim Caruso's cast party every Monday night at Birdland. Get your tickets for all these events at birdlandjazz.com. And hey, Tuesday through Saturday, see Michael Garin at the Roxy Hotel in Tribeca. And I think if you go to his Facebook page, he actually streams the whole thing. He's there at the piano doing these segues, doing the spiel that he does, holding court at the piano bar at the Roxy. So if you can't get physically there, you can actually go there. So yeah, Michael Garin at the Roxy. Evan Seplow is the founder and editor of StageBuddy.com. David Sheward writes for TheaterLife.com, CulturalDaily.com, and my own TotalTheater.com. Leslie Hoban Blake co-hosts Two on the Aisle with Charlie Gross. You can see episodes and clips of that on YouTube. And of course, Vicky Quaddy does Late Night Catechism and Are You Smarter Than Your 8th Grade Nun out there in Chicago at the Greenhouse Theater. And finally, a radio thing, two radio things. Larry Kerwin does Celtic Crush on Channel 710 of Sirius XM, and David Kenny's long-running Everything Old is New Again happens on Sunday nights on WBAI. And those, my friends, are the friends of the Daverhood. Well, it is noon, or even a minute or two after noon. So we've done so much. We've done Bunion Watch. We've had Bob Spiotto and Rabbi Saul. We've had Saul's Rabbinical Reflection. We've done Greeley Times. And I've talked about the word gingerly. We mentioned Billy Joel, and we talked about rock and roll, and we've done so much. Seems like about time to end the show, doesn't it, babe? Doesn't
Do whatever you want. It's your life. It's your show. It's your jam.
Well, we haven't left out anything, have we?
You just have so many friends. I forgot that I can't say the name of the town. Or not Aaron.
It's with an A. You're right. You're right.
Arundel.
Close enough.
What?
Aberdeen.
Oh, that's not.
Aberdeen, Colorado.
There's an Aberdeen. Okay. Aberdeen, Colorado.
I'll play the theme, and you can read to us some information about our place for the Colorado Limerick of the Damned, Aberdeen, Colorado. Whoops.
A limerick is a comic verse of 5 lines, in which lines 1, 2, and 5 would end with words that rhyme, and likewise verses 3 and 4 also end with words that rhyme. So this is a limerick.
Rocky Mountain,
Where'd you find it? Colorado, Aberdeen, Colorado. So I've written a poem about it, but let me tell you about it first. Joyce was kind enough to find this information here. About moving, if you want to move to Aberdeen, Colorado. It is a coveted neighborhood in Pueblo. So it's in middle southeastern Colorado, founded as a quarry, actually, in 1889, and it ran until 1892, which was named after an actual quarry in Scotland called Aberdeen. So it offers residents the charm of a small town and the conveniences of city living that all work beautifully in unison. It's known for its elegant architectural landscape. Take a stroll through the neighborhood and be delighted by immaculately kept Victorian-style homes that speak of both history and prestige. It kind of bridges the best of Pueblo. Effortless access to Pueblo Community College.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's the selling point.
Hey, better there than Columbia. What really sets it apart is its proximity to an array of outdoor attractions. City Park, where a lot of this is more about Pueblo than Aberdeen, but I guess it's Aberdeen adjacent.
Well, but it's probably like some counties in Colorado or some places are so expensive that you go to the one that's near there.
But here's the deal. This is a different thing.
It's a quasi-municipal district and political subdivision.
Yeah, because it's different from what I'm talking about here. This Aberdeen, the Aberdeen ghost town-ish Colorado.
The Bonnie View neighborhood at Aberdeen.
This is so weird. I couldn't find that at all. It's different from what I have of this place that was just a rock quarry.
This is a lot of stuff going down.
Yeah. Here it says
neighborhood rules. The
Yeah.
Aberdeen neighborhood is a covenant-controlled something.
Huh.
Maybe there's probably more than one, right?
In Colorado alone?
Here we go.
Yeah.
Next door, Aberdeen, Colorado. News, pets, and free stuff. Residents 1,608. Average income 67K, average age 56, and 91% homeowners.
Hmm.
Peaceful, quiet neighborhood in Pueblo, clean, nice streets, people walk dogs. They have free admission to some tournament finals of something at the convention center. Oh,
What?
someone's selling pickled vegetables and canned non-GMO heirloom tomatoes with no chemicals.
I want this.
And someone said, "Is anyone missing a dog?" He was wandering around Cleveland and Good Night Street this morning.
Good Night Street?
Yeah.
There's a Good Night Street. I
Yeah.
love it. We have to move there. This sounds lovely.
Yeah.
This is very. Maybe there's two.
They
Yeah.
said 2 cars were ransacked.
Oh,
Someone
dear.
got,
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, they got a pizza place having something.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Looks nice. Walkable. People are happy there. They got all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Well, it's Colorado. They're gonna. But it's very different. Probably nearby, the Aberdeen we're talking, or this other Aberdeen, which supplied. This is cool. The granite that built Denver State Capitol building came from Aberdeen Quarry.
Wow.
It had like 300 people in its heyday. And this is a wonderful story from Wiki. In 1891,
Oh my God.
workers at the Aberdeen Quarry
Mhm.
struck for a 9-hour, they were working a 10-hour day, they struck for a 9-hour day and for Sundays off. Management said no, and they hired a bunch of scabs. But for the week that the scabs were working, production sank so low that a week later the owners caved in, no pun intended, and gave in to the workers.
Wow.
In 4 years, the workers mined 24,000 tons of granite. But when the work was finished, this particular Aberdeen
Yeah.
dwindled to nothing almost immediately, and the railroad took its hub away. Won't even stop there. So
Don't
they
take my hub away.
I know.
Sad.
Smaller mining projects continued for a few years, and the quarry is still a Gunnison County historic landmark. So this is different.
I
This is
was in
Gunnison.
Gunnison.
Yeah.
I was in Gunnison.
So it's a different one. And you can visit where Aberdeen, the town, was, but there's nothing there at all except land. However, there's a whole other Aberdeen community in Colorado that I didn't even know about, thank you very much, that is thriving and has like 1,000 people in it and is pretty amazingly cool. So, with 2, I guess we need to call them Aberdi, but then we would lose lose the rhyme in the poem. So we're going to keep calling it Aberdeen, Colorado. Take your pick which Aberdeen it relates to for a poem, because I've set myself the task of writing a poem about as many places in Colorado as I can. So today's Limerick, yeah, it's not dirty sexy, it's just evil. So here is our Colorado Limerick of the Damned for Aberdeen, Colorado. A psychotic student from Aberdeen was triggered by men wearing gabardine. For being bad dressers, she strangled professors and used an old steak knife to stab her dean. Please send your comments and complaints to davesgoneby at AOL.com. Dave's Gone By, DAVESGONEBY at AOL.com. I try and read every email that comes in, and also when you post on Facebook. If you give me a thumbs up on the page, or if you write something under the show, I do try to read them and try to respond if I have the time. But I love seeing everything that you guys share, as well as telling each other and telling other people and getting the word out about this long-running show, Dave's Gone By. Remember that you can find our archives at davesgoneby.com, archive.org, and the audio archives at castbox.fm. We also have our YouTube channel, Dave's Gone By. And let me mention one more, well, I mention every week, that there's a separate website for my writing, for my plays, my song lyrics, the journalism pieces that I've written, the interviews that I've done, stuff that isn't related to the radio show, or at least not the video stuff, but the written hard copy stuff that I've done, except it's not on hard copy, it's on a digital framework, you can find at davelefkowitz.org. Dave and my last name, lefkowitz.org. Please give that a look, and especially if you run a theater company somewhere, and you're looking for a funny one-act play or a funny full-length play, or you want to bring Rabbi Sol's stage show back, or maybe my award-winning show, The Miracle of Long Johns. any of that stuff, you'll find the text there. Feel free to surf, but feel free to think about putting these things on and getting them done. I would love that. DaveLefkowitz.org. Well, it is 10 after 12 Eastern Time in the Daverhood. You've been watching the Dave's Gone By Facebookio podcast, their programmio of the stream. This has been our 940th episode that we've been calling I Spy, because it's for Robert Spiotto, SPI. Next week, we fully intend to return with the 941st episode of the show. So that will be April 27th from 9 until noonish or thereabouts. I don't know if we'll have a guest or who the guest will be, but we'll be doing our usual nonsense, the best kind of nonsense, in the Daverhood. Anything to add? I think we covered everything.
Great show.
Yeah, it was good. Thanks to Bob Spiotto, thanks to you, thanks to Rabbi Saul.
Really long, really good interview. Interesting combo.
Yeah, it was great.
I'm looking forward to seeing you and on the show you just did.
Oh, with John,
Can't
yeah.
wait till you can air it, yeah.
Okay, I'll keep you posted on
I'd like
when
to
that
see it,
airs
see
on
the
Finding
full
Better.
thing, yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, have a very, very fine Passover for those of you to whom that applies. I think it's Monday night, the 22nd is when it starts, or maybe 21st, whatever.
Want me to look?
Yeah, when did they find the chametz? And when do they? I don't know if it starts Monday night or if Monday's the first day or whatever the hell.
When is
Passover will start on Monday evening, April 22nd, 2024.
There you
and
go.
will end on Tuesday evening, April 30th, 2024.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I have this ready. I didn't get to use it because I can't really fit this on the wall behind me and Rabbi. But yeah, baby, yeah, it's lots of matzah time. So, again, have a good Seder, a safe Seder. Have a wonderful, happy Passover, and we will see you next week in the Daverhood and Gone Bye.